I forgot to turn loop off. My bad. Getting a head start on the gimmicking for next season with the with the technical difficulties, I reckon, but that one was self-imposed. It's been 2 days now, and it still just doesn't feel real still. It didn't feel real while it was happening. I know that we waited a long time for this. I didn't go live that night because I didn't really have words. I would have just sat here and smiled at the camera, and nobody wants to see that. It's it's hard to describe. It really is. I think back to when I was in the Navy, and I hadn't played hockey in a couple of years. When I played as a kid, it was mostly I just played pickup at the rink on Fort Bragg. I didn't take it serious. I didn't play juniors, or there was no such thing as any form of high school hockey. They had the junior fire ants. That was about it. But it was something that it was an expensive commitment, and as you guys know, I had other ambitions in life at the time, so I didn't really worry about it. But I've always loved the game. I've always loved the Hurricanes and everything like that. When I was in the Navy, and just truth be told, I had a lot of days in the military where I wasn't doing good mentally. And my friend Seth, who I actually knew well before I joined, he was living in Suffolk, Virginia at the time, and I was stationed in Norfolk. I lived in the X1 barracks on the base because they were letting people who were on ships that were not married or weren't an E5 with BAH, they were letting them have barracks rooms because it was helping to retain people and everything like that. So I remember then that I went to hang out with him one day, and we went to the Buffalo Wild Wings in Chesapeake, and then we went over to a rink called Chilled Ponds. I don't remember why we went over there, actually. I really don't. I'd have to ask him. I actually need to catch up with him and see how he's doing. I got a lot of people I got to catch up with. Like, I need to actually sit down and make a list of a whole bunch of people I just haven't had time to talk to, because I didn't have any social media of any kind until I created this channel, and then ultimately I made the X account. But, like, I don't have Facebook or anything like that. So me keeping up with people, it actually requires a concerted effort on my part, and I haven't been doing that, and that's something I'm going to correct over the summer. But him and I went over there, and I was thinking about how I kind of just sat around and played video games and ate junk food, and I wasn't really taking care of myself at all. But I had my gear in my old Nissan Xterra, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll start playing again. So I went on the website and I looked, and I saw that they had pickup there on Friday and Saturday night. So I started playing again. I barely had my skates on right because I hadn't skated in 2 or 3 years at that point. And I remembered all over again why I loved the game so much, and it became a even bigger part of my identity than it already was that night. So even though I'm still not good at it, I never will be. That ship has long sailed for me. Hell, that ship hasn't sailed. It has sunk. It sunk before it made it out of the harbor. It's like at the beginning of Pirates of the Caribbean, where Jack Sparrow is standing on the mast of the ship as it's sinking at the dock, which is not possible because the water there is not deep enough for that to happen. It's very shallow. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to have a dock there. That's besides the point. Sailor talk. But I needed a healthy outlet, and hockey gave it to me. So needless to say, from playing, I ran into other fans, and, military town, very transient area. The majority of them were Caps fans, which made sense. It was Virginia. But there was a little bit of everybody from everywhere. I very seldom ran into another Canes fan. People very often asked me, why do you stick with this team? They suck. They're going to relocate, blah, blah, blah. You don't have any good players. You don't have a superstar, this, that, and the other. I never thought about jumping ship because, I liked the fact that it was kind of unique that I liked the team that I did. But I also remember I didn't go to my first Canes game until I was 19. I'd been to many hockey games in the Crown Coliseum. We went to a few on the road, like against the PD Cyclones and the Winston-Salem T-Birds when they were in the SPHL. There were a few others. But I remember going to those games when I was a kid. And I went to my first Canes game when I was 19 or 20, something like that. I think I was PCSing from Pensacola to Norfolk. And I remember that was like right at the beginning of the dark ages, but the crowd had already kind of started to thin out. The attendance was kind of starting to hurt already. And I was gone for the half lockout year. I was gone for most of that or for the entire lockout part of it anyway. I was deployed that year. But I just remember that people always asked me why I liked that team and that it was totally justifiable for me to, be a fan of another one. And they always found it weird that I was from North Carolina and that I liked hockey and that I played and all the other stuff. And now I don't think that that'll really happen anymore. If someone were to replay the exact same scenario today, I think a lot of people would not ask those types of questions, and that's a good thing. Because now the Hurricanes are back on the map and they're bigger than ever. And I don't think that you needed the Stanley Cup for that to happen. You just needed good ownership and you needed good marketing, because I remember the Red Volution stuff was so cringy. People used to chirp me about it. I'd be playing pickup, I'd skate by, and someone that I knew, like my buddy Corey or my buddy Kevin, would yell at me, Red Volution, every time I skated by, and it would throw me off, and I'm not good at handling a puck to begin with. But I just remember how people asked me why I was a fan of this team. It was the same thing when I moved up to Northern Virginia. They're like, why do you like that team? And I couldn't forego my loyalties just because they weren't good. And sticking with them through all that has been absolutely worth it. And I'm very grateful for them and the game itself, because it helped me not be lazy. It helped me have something to look forward to at the end of the day, because back then, like I said, I wanted to be a pilot. So, when I'm sitting on a destroyer in 102-degree weather and watching F-18s land at Chambers Field, I'm kind of like, what happened? How did I end up doing this when I wanted to do that? And I knew I was capable of that. It wasn't my fault that I couldn't fly. It was something that was beyond my control. But I'm really grateful that I have this connection to the game. And I'm really grateful that I stuck with my team. There were other teams that I liked watching. There were other teams that I cheered for over others. But ultimately, then at the end of the day, it was always waiting on the Canes to take the next step, waiting on them to, get better organizational depth, get better players and everything like that. The first time I actually thought about starting a YouTube channel was about 10 years ago. And I was going to call it the Neutral Zone, and I was just going to have a completely neutral analysis of the game, because I thought the Hurricanes were going to move. I was pretty convinced of it. I think what really got that going was when that one reporter in Quebec wrote the whole article that Cormanos had talked to somebody about selling them to a ownership group in Quebec so that they could bring the Nordiques back. Luckily, that didn't happen. History didn't play out that way. But it definitely seemed like that was a very, very realistic possibility the longer time went on. But that was one thing that people always knew about me, was that I liked the Hurricanes. And it didn't make any sense why I liked them, because they sucked. But it very much was worth it. And at the end of the day, it was harmless scrutiny that people had towards me and everything like that. One of the first texts I got after they won the other night was from a good friend of mine, Anthony, and he's one of my best friends in the whole world. I was actually a groomsman at his wedding. When the Caps beat Vegas in 2018, about 5 minutes after that, I was actually up where I worked, and we couldn't take phones in where we worked. I was at my first civilian job, and I ran out to my truck. I grabbed my phone and I called him immediately, because I knew how much it meant to him. And he texted me. I wasn't on the phone with him for 30 seconds that night that I called him. I just said, hey, man, congratulations. I know how much it means to you and everything. Him and I played hockey together for years, and he he's one of those guys that cannot play for 2 years and jump back on the ice and not skip a beat. It's amazing. And he's in his 40s now, I believe, and he's an amazing hockey player. I very much wish I had a fraction of the ability that he had. But just an amazing hockey player, an amazing guy. One of the first texts I got was from him. Another friend of mine, Julio, who's a really big New York Islanders fan, he called me during one of the TV timeouts. And, he told me that he was wearing a Canes shirt and he recruited a bunch of guys to be temporary Canes fans because he's an Islanders guy, but he also likes the Knicks. So he got to have his NBA championship the other night, and he was really happy about that. And I was happy for him with that. So shout out to him. I know he watches the channel a lot of times. So he was a really good friend of mine back in Northern Virginia as well. I still talk to him, but I got a lot of texts from people. I got a lot of calls from people, and it was nice to see that. First person I called was my dad, because my dad's who got me into hockey, because back in 94, when the baseball players went on strike, he started watching hockey, and then, the Whalers moved to Greensboro and then ultimately Raleigh. So that's where that came from. We watched the Fayetteville Force in the now defunct Central Hockey League, and then got the Fire Ants that are, the same franchise now. They're just called the Marksmen, owned by a different guy. The owner of that team's legal name is actually Chuck Norris. I'm not kidding. It's literally his legal name is Chuck Norris. And he's really cool dude. Really, really cool guy. Former Special Forces, I believe. But I'm just sitting here thinking about everything I sat through, hoping that this team was going to get better. I know that I overvalued a few guys that I thought were going to be game changers. Elias Lindholm being one. I still like Lindholm, but I really just it was a surreal experience sitting there the other night, and I was pretty quiet during that whole game. Surprisingly enough, I didn't yell a whole lot. I think the only times I yelled were when Blake scored and when Ehlers put the empty netter in. And then the longest 68 seconds of my life occurred after that. And it seemed like a lifetime, even compared to when Justin Williams scored the empty netter in Game 7 versus the Oilers. So, but at the end of the day, it was more than anything, this season was fun. It was turbulent at times. There were times where it felt like things were not going that well for whatever reason, even though they went incredibly well, all circumstances considered, with injuries and everything else that was going on. And feasting on the corpse of the media has been fun as well, for thinking that they couldn't do it. Now, I know that I was skeptical of this team earlier on, and a lot of that changed for me when Seth Jarvis fought Zemgus Girgensons, because I was like, all right, cool. If they can do that, maybe they won't get pushed around in the playoffs. And sure enough, Jordan Stahl doubled down on that when he fought Brady Tkachuk. Very first thing that he did in the first round. So the two things that the team always had to worry about was getting goalied or getting bullied. And they put both of those to bed over the course of the playoffs. And it doesn't matter what the Hurricanes do. I'll just forewarn you guys for future reference. It does not matter what the Hurricanes do. There will always be detractors. There will always be people who feel like that they have some moral responsibility to bitch about the team being moved from Hartford. They will always try to devalue or delegitimize any accomplishments the Hurricanes have. Like right now, the flavor of the month is easy path. But the Hurricanes have won 2 Stanley Cups in the cap era. And this time they were well below the cap going into the playoffs, which is something I thought might hamstring them and cause them problems. Ultimately, it did not. But this league has more parity than any of the other major professional sports in North America. And the talent pool that you can pull players from is more vast than ever. There's so many people playing now. It's only a matter of time until you have a high pick who pans out at the NHL level, and he came from the Junior Canes or something. That day is coming. That day is coming. It really is. The Junior Canes, Shane Willis and company, have done an excellent job with that program. It's only a matter of time until someone comes out of there, a North Carolina born, bred, homegrown prospect that makes it to the NHL and is a high pick. I think that day is coming. I wouldn't be surprised if that person is inspired by Jacob Slavin and becomes a great shutdown defenseman, even though that type of player is starting to go away. I think that whoever the next one is could be someone who has watched Jacob Slavin play and is very much inspired by him and becomes that type of player. I really do believe that. Yeah, there's a lot of good to look forward to with this team. I did not expect them to win it this year when everything started. You may remember I did the opening night show with my good friend Michael Lewis. He came on here, and I was like, I think that this team can do it, but I thought it would be next season because I basically cited, I assume that the team you see in front of you is the one that you're going to have for however long. And I expected Blake, Stankoven, Miller, the young guys, to take the steps that would eventually get the team where it needed to be. I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. This is the team I expected to see play in 2027 for a cup. And they're a year ahead of schedule. Now, some people have already DM'd me and asked me some stuff, and we'll get into the weeds on this more as after I take my break during the off season, because after the draft, I'm taking like 2 months off. I might upload some stuff here and there, but as far as like doing streams and everything like that, I need a break. I got some other stuff I got to focus on. I interviewed for a new job today. That's why the playoff beard is predominantly gone, because man, it was they could have made a small animal out of everything they chopped off my face. But I think that their chances of being able to win again next season, I won't say they're great, because repeating in this league, or in any league for that matter, but in this league, it's incredibly difficult. I would say that their chances are above average to do it, which is about as good as it gets. So I hope these boys don't party too hard. I hope that they can get rested up. I hope that they can enjoy the moment, and I hope they stay hungry. I'm sure they will. They got the right guy at the behind the bench to make sure that they do stay hungry. But right now, let them just enjoy it and get ready for it next year, because it's going to be harder next year. But we're going to talk about that here in a second. I am going to get I'm going to invite a couple of guys in here. Give me 2 seconds. And we'll go through some comments and everything like that once we get everyone in here. All right, send that there. And then I got to send one to our good friend, Sam Wallace. And there's that one. All righty. My friend, good to see you.
They did it, man. They did it. They really fucking did it.
You know, and see what's funny about it? They beat two of the teams I was the most afraid of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Ottawa and Montreal were the two teams I was most afraid of, and they handled both of them.
Man, I'm just sorry that I've been bugging you so much.
Oh, no, dude, it's all good. It's just like I posted something about it yesterday before I fell asleep. Oh, we got more company. Now we're in trouble.
There he is. Sam. They did it, man. Sam, they did it.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I hear you just fine.
All righty.
You're good.
Oh, man.
They did it, Sam.
I know. I'm so happy. And I was at the watch party in Lenovo, too. It was probably the loudest. I went to game 3. Yeah.
Watch party.
That was the loudest building I have ever been in my entire life.
Man, must have been nice. Yeah. My sister, who isn't really into sports all that much, especially not hockey, but though she did know how much it meant to me. And so she reached out to me and said, hey, let's get together and watch it. And so we had her and her husband over for company and made a party out of it, and it was great. to watch Game 6, and I there's a video of me when Ehlers scores. My wife took it, of me absolutely losing my ever-loving mind, and I am bouncing all over the living room, making a complete and utter fool of myself in front of my sister and her husband and my wife. And I don't regret a bit of it.
Oh, I'm sure
I was like a complete idiot, and I don't care.
Dude, I'm sure every Kings fan would say that too. They're probably like, I don't care what I did.
The weird thing about it is, the weird thing about it is, I couldn't have been more calm during that entire game, because the way they came out and played the first shift, I'm like, yeah, they're stepping on the neck tonight. They're going to win it. I knew it from the first shift. There's been plenty of times where I watch a game at the get-go, I'm like, I don't know how this one's going to go. That one,
yeah,
expected result from puck drop, man. That they could not have executed that game any better. Like, they were there to win. They would not be denied. That team, I knew from the first shift. I'm like, I felt plenty of excitement during that game, but with excitement and anxiety tend to go hand in hand. I had zero anxiety during that whole game.
Yeah, oddly enough, I didn't have a ton of anxiety either. I was monumentally anxious throughout Game 4. And
Game 2 was the one that really fucked with me.
Yeah, well, that was when it was most in doubt.
Yeah,
that was when it was by far most in doubt, when they came closest to crapping out on us. But I was excited. I was nervous. I wasn't anxious really throughout Game 6. But when the empty netter went in, that's when I knew. That's when I knew beyond any shadow of a doubt. And that's when I just lost it. And then 20 years of because that's when I started watching hockey, was 05-06. And you see that and you think it's normal. No, that's not the normal fan experience.
Especially not for Carolina.
No, not for anything. Because I've said this before. Cheering for a professional team is inherently a disappointing exercise. There's only one champion out of usually 30 plus teams, no matter what the sport is. And so it's inherently set up to be, you're set up to be disappointed. It's like, why did I choose this as my hobby? I could have picked something else. But no, you don't choose the team. The team chooses you.
That's a good way to put it.
And they chose me 20 years ago, and they've had me ever since, and they'll have me for the rest of my life. And they rewarded that loyalty. And I'm just so happy.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting, Game 4 to me was a game where I was just more confused than I was anxious, because I was just like, how did we tie this game? But that was just me. But Game 6, I'll admit, that game had me so anxious. I felt like the last period felt like 5 hours.
See, and you know what made me laugh more than anything during that game? When Jarvis held the cup. He held it. I wish I had someone sitting next to me to hear me say it. I'm like, I bet you he's going to hand it to Kotkaniemi. And that's exactly what he did.
Exactly what he did.
I knew it. He did. It was, no, the funniest thing that Seth Jarvis ever did that made me laugh the most. Well, actually, there's a bunch, but this has got to be in the top 5. Between the I want to fight fishy thing and the when they were interviewing him when he came back from Mexico, and he's like, oh, I didn't drink. My body's a temple. I was in the gym the whole time, and he busted out and laughed here before he even finished it. All the reporters around him started laughing. They're like, come on, bro, stop the cap. But the funniest, one of the funniest, that dude, he could have been a comedian or a gym teacher or something like that if he hadn't been an NHL player. He had plenty of paths in life where he would have succeeded. He's just that funny of a dude. But the most that I laughed at him this season, we were at a game, and you know how they'll do. Me and Jeremy were there. AB was there too, but he Ubered back home at the first period because he got sick. But we're watching they do those little videos during the intermission, and they're asking the players, do you sleep with socks on or off? And of course, everybody's saying off. And I tell Jeremy, and God and Jeremy both as my witness, I said, I guarantee you Jarvis is going to be the one who sleeps with socks on.
Dude, he eats food in the bathroom.
He's not normal. I mean, it's endearing. It's very endearing, but he's not normal.
We have footage in the documentary.
Like, they need to get National Geographic just following Jarvis around to see, like,
Crazy, man. What a character.
Get like Robert Irwin to
commentate his life. Now we see the wild Jarvis. He's going into his bathroom. He's trying to choose between the blue bag and the red bag of the
his prey of nerd gummies.
Yeah. I mean, those things are good. Don't get me wrong. That's one of my weaknesses, but I stay away from them.
No one is quite sure why he chooses to dine in the bathroom.
And then during lunchtime, he gets Chick-fil-A nuggets and heats them up.
He's not going to be able to get away with that stuff forever. I hope he knows that. I'm like, buddy, eventually you're going to have to eat a salad.
Yeah, like when he gets on the wrong side of 30, that'll definitely happen.
Well, I mean, mentally, he'll never be on the other side of 30 because he's just one of those really a kid at heart dudes. But he eventually, I'm like, buddy, you're going to have to eat some salmon and some broccoli. I'm sorry. It happens to all of us.
Sunday night, I became instantly like a 12-year-old boy. I mean, like I was just, there was nothing that anyone could do to calm me down or change my attitude at that time. I was just, I was out. I was out of it. And I want to talk about Blake's goal because that sequence was one of the best pieces of Hurricanes hockey.
Yes.
Ever. Like as great, as consistent.
It was like watching three Brendamores on the ice at once.
It was unbelievable. And it was,
I knew they were going to score on that shift. I was like,
yeah, me too.
Oh,
I could see it coming. And it was basically, though, it was 2-on-5. It was Blank and Stakoven. These two kids, these two sub 6 foot kids abused and embarrassed all 6 Golden Knights, particularly Noah Hannafin, which
that's
makes
not hard to
me
do.
very happy. But boy, did they ever make, it was 2-on-5. It was 2-on-5 and they made them all look stupid.
That reminds me, I'm going to pull something up. Y'all keep talking.
It was chance retrieval.
And it hit off of Marner.
Yeah, and the fact that it deflects off of Marner is just the cherry on the shake. Like it was just absolutely monumentally impressive. It was the best. It was the best thing I've ever seen. Like, and just it's not the prettiest like most highlight reel goal. It doesn't have to be. That was the best hockey I've ever seen. That play right there from those two.
I knew they were going to score after Stankoven got it back the second time. I was like, they're not giving up on this shift. They're either going to get it or they're going to die trying, and they're all alive today. So,
and those two are locked up for 8 more years.
And a lot of that all happened
at $11 million between the two of them.
Crazy.
And that all happened. That all happened because Blake actually was doing the defensively responsible thing. When he went back to the high slot, he was reloading. So that way, if the puck started to come out, if they started to carry it out, he could go ahead and like jump on them to try and slow down that breakout or deny it entirely. All that happened because of defensive responsibility. That's what creates your opportunities for you and everything.
They got 4 takeaways on that one play. All from no
yeah. Another player that I thought was really good.
It's one of my favorite posts from this year. Because that bottom one's from the Olympics. And then I did an AI edit with that other one and wrote Hannafin and Coughlin on it.
I mean, they finally wised up and took Coughlin out of the game. It didn't help, but they finally took Coughlin out of the lineup. Like, I mean, Coughlin, I guess, was having a good playoffs, but
it'll never happen again.
It should never, like, he never should have been there. Like he does not belong in the NHL. He's not.
That's why people are like, oh well, Colorado this, Colorado that. I'm like, Colorado got scored on by Dylan Coughlin. I stopped taking them serious the moment that happened because see, I saw that happen in real time, but I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was sitting over there on my beanbag. I had my laptop in my lap, and I was doing homework. And then I look up during the first intermission report or whatever it was, and Subban's breaking down Dylan Coughlin's goal, and I'm like, wait, who scored? Who?
I had
Dylan Coughlin.
I had to needle Katie on that one. That was before I thought they were still gonna win or do better. So I needled Katie a little bit on that one. After when they went to I stopped poking fun at her after it started to go
I already had I already had a McKinnon to China meme loaded up, and I was going to tag her in at the moment that if Colorado had won, I was waiting. I was ready to go. I jumped on Aaron Manning Wright immediately when Montreal won their series. I hit her with the China flag not 2 seconds after the horn went off.
Oh yeah. But speaking of China, Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, China. Travis Konechny, Trevor Zegras, China. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, China.
Slavkovsky, China. Demidov,
Jack
China.
Eichel, Mitch Marner, go to fucking China. Sit down. Get out of my country.
I hate saying stuff like that because I like both of them, especially Eichel and Marner. I really like Eichel, so I hate sending them to
is
China.
An American hero, fair enough. But
yeah, I've always liked Eichel, though.
We shut his ass down.
Yeah, see, that's why I was so pissed off at people being critical of Aho. A lot of his shifts were against Eichel, and I think his line only had 1 5-on-5 goal in the last 3 games of the series.
And we got in there. We got in his head. We were in his head because that was like a Nathan McKinnon in the gold medal game miss. It was not quite as bad, but still
it wasn't nearly as bad as that one.
not quite as bad, yeah, but still.
McKinnon pulled a Jankowski in that moment. Is that a thing with like really handsy skilled players where it's like you might snipe somebody with 2 inches of room over their top, over their glove side shoulder, and then you miss a soccer net right after you sign a $1.85 million extension for 2 years.
Yeah, it was inexplicable, but still, I mean, Eichel, there's no excuse. That's got to be in the net. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. Now, the only reason that he hit the crossbar is that we got in his head, and specifically Bussy got in his head.
Bussy challenged really well on that and didn't give him time to. If he gave him time to shoot, that would have maybe not went as well as it did. Because when he hit the post initially, I was kind of like, that was about the only time I was tense during that game was in that moment where Mark Stone also sent him to China. Actually, send him to China first. The medical care there is really good, I promise. You will go on vacation there forever. But it's like that was the one moment during that game I was tense because at first I thought Mark Stone was going to try and tap that puck in, but then he and Eichel are all alone down there and they can play pong with each other 3 or 4 times before anybody from Carolina could potentially get back. And Eichel just tried to do what elite players do in those situations, and it didn't work out for him, thankfully, because 9 times out of 10 that puck's in the net when Jack Eichel's given that opportunity.
Oh yeah, I mean it should be 10 out of 10. It should be 10 out of 10. There's the only reason he misses is because the Hurricanes and specifically Brandon Bussy were in his head. Yeah, and the Hurricanes were in the collectively they got in Vegas's heads because, and we mentioned this earlier in the year. Brandon Bussy throws people off. He is so different from Anderson.
Yes, he is.
And now some people in the conference started to adjust to him a little bit. That's why I think after the Olympic break he was struggling a little bit. But Vegas didn't have any experience with him, and they didn't know what to do.
See, and that's weird though, considering they had Logan Thompson and he's a full right.
But it's not just the right. It's not just the right glove. It's not just.
It's how Bussy attacks shooters. That's part of the reason why the ones he gives up looks really bad. Kochekov does it too. Bussy does it with more efficiency.
Yeah, he is so different from Anderson. They figured out Anderson. It's not that Anderson was terrible, even though he was letting in too much. None of them were like soft goals, but they had pretty much solved him. But Bussy, they just could not adjust to Bussy.
I thought the hat trick goal that Marner had was borderline bad for Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, well, also at that point he was injured. He was like he had injured knee, and he was probably, a little woozy from the.
I think after that knee in the head, he wasn't the same. He was a little wobbly on his feet after that.
Yeah, even though that may not be the official reason, he obviously did injure his knee, but I definitely think that maybe even it wasn't like an official concussion, he was still dizzy.
Yeah,
at that point.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, I mean, Bussy, man, saved our season twice. Saved it in the regular season, saved it in the playoffs. But we will not forget Freddie. We will not forget his contribution. We'll never forget that Freddie Anderson was lights out for 3 rounds.
And Bussy was so selfless with his comments after all that. Like, that dude's a team player. That's why I told people, I'm like, even if he doesn't maintain the level of play that he had in the regular season, which he did long enough in the playoffs to make it count, that's a good ad for a multitude of reasons.
So good, man. So good. He was so freaking good. And Sam, I've talked a lot. What do you got?
Also, a player that probably isn't going to be mentioned a lot of Game 6 that I thought played very, very good. I mean, he got the first goal for Carolina, Taylor Hall. Like, my gosh, he was so good. And it's funny because that goal he made was fantastic, but to me, I thought his best play was, what was it, 1 or 2 shifts after that where he kind of stormed and did a backhand move on the Vegas player and tried to score again. My gosh, he was unleashed.
Ehlers, and that was with 5 minutes left, diving, extending the stick to break up that pass, and then clear the puck, which took like 2 or 3 times to do it.
Speaking of Taylor Hall, dude's kind of a rat. I like it.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of a rat. Yeah. But Carolina's needed that. That's not where I expected it to come from.
And frankly, I mean, definitely, without a doubt, Jordan Staal earned the MVP.
Yeah. What he did in the finals, he jumped everybody at that point. And he was already near the top.
Yeah, he did. Now, I will say this, though. Like, Staal, Hall, Blake, Stankoven, and Ehlers also would have deserved it. They also could have earned it. And definitely Staal is ahead of them. But I actually think it is pretty close. I mean, freaking Blake. I like this guy, this kid. What an unbelievable player, man. What a absolutely I mean, people were saying before the playoffs, because like last year, he gets mogged by Florida. The whole team got mogged by Florida. But I didn't even think he was that bad last year. I mean, just he had to learn. He did. He learned. And the whole team learned.
Yeah, he stopped putting his head down when he was going into the zone, because that's when he kept getting cleaned out last year. Was like he'd get a little overconfident, put his head down for a second, and he'd get annihilated. I mean, to his credit, every time it happened, he got right back up and kept playing. But you can only do that so many times before it comes back to bite you. But he very much impressed me this year. I know that I was saying earlier that I would deport him for Robert Thomas and not even pack him a sandwich for the flight. I don't really feel that way anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no.
But at this point, I don't think they need a center anymore. I mean, I know it's kind of too early to talk about the offseason, but here's one thing I do want to hear y'all's thoughts about. This is what I expected to happen next year. What we saw happen 2 days ago. I was expecting it to be next year. Florida will probably be back in the playoffs. This team should not base decisions on that. If you can't beat everybody, you don't deserve to win. But Florida does kind of set the pace. What do you do in the offseason now? Because this team is great as it is. I want them to add something. What do you guys think?
You want to go ahead, Sam?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I would say the only thing they probably need to add in terms of an actual roster player is probably, I'd say probably another depth piece up front.
How does Bobby McMahon sound to you?
I wouldn't mind him. The thing is, there's not much to fix with this team, and because they won the Stanley Cup, they did it. And probably maybe a depth forward. People are saying a depth right-handed defenseman, but I feel like that's going to be cleaned up with Nystrom and possibly Legault.
Yeah, and then, the other thing is, it's like those guys are going to get an extended look next year, more than they got this year, because I don't think Slavin is starting next season. I don't think Jarvis is either. So Nadeau is finally going to get his look. And that's long overdue, but there just wasn't room for him. That's why when people were saying, it's kind of a red flag, he hadn't been called up yet. I'm like, no, there's no room. He's good, but he's not, you can't supplant Jarvis, Blake, or anybody like that to put him in the lineup. So Bobby McMahon's kind of my first choice right now. My only issue is, where do you put him if you do that? And then also, Freddie kind of went out on top. If he calls it quits here, so be it. And I think that's where you got to start thinking about, hey, what do you do about goaltending? Do you ride with this tandem, or do you try and pry Connor Hellebuck out of Winnipeg? Because now you've seen when he has a good team in front of him, he can steal a really important game for you, i.e. the gold medal game.
Yeah, I don't think we need a guy like Connor Hellebuck, to be honest. With the way Buzzy played, granted, goalies are unpredictable, but
especially ours.
Yeah.
We've got the most unpredictable tandem in the league. We might as well just bring Mrazek back while we're at it, just to complete the trifecta of unpredictable goalies. The league of unpredictable goalies.
Yeah, I mean, so it'll depend heavily on what players decide to do in terms of, corrective surgery in the offseason. I'm expecting it. I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't know if have you all seen any kind of injury report from the Hurricanes yet? I haven't, except for obviously what we know about Freddie. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely expecting Slavin and Jarvis to get surgery. However, I mean, outside like signing a depth, and I love Bobby McMahon, and I wouldn't hate it at all if we signed him. But we have internal fixes for this. We have internal fixes that can carry the load until Slavin and Jarvis come back. So it's a luxury to sign McMahon. It is not a need.
Yeah.
And that same goes for anyone else. It is a luxury to add any free agent. We don't have to. We don't have to make a trade. We don't have to sign a free agent. And I'll say this, as far as, centers, the switch that Stankoven made, he always had the defensive positioning aspect down, but his faceoffs have gotten so much better.
The work ethic was always there too.
And his ability to drive the net and the tenacity that he always had, he was able to bring it into the middle of the ice and mog the competition in the playoffs. All that being said, still not convinced he can do it in the NHL.
I can't either. I don't know. I'm not convinced yet.
Not a bit. Not convinced. Nope.
I will not be convinced until July 1st, 2034, and even then, I might push that back when he signs another extension.
Sooner. Not a bit.
Yeah, I mean they're in a good spot with center depth, though. It's like, but here's my thing about it. Let's say you add someone like Larkin. I'm just throwing a name out there because if he wants to win, Carolina's a good place for him to come. And you have the potential that you could get him without trading any roster players because you have 3 NHL-ready guys who are sitting in Chicago playing for a Calder Cup right now. So you could argue 4 even. If you can make that trade, and this team is the whole there are no 1 through 4 lines thing, that trope, this is the closest thing that you have to that actually being true. It's still not true, but this is the closest thing you have to it. So you keep Hall, Blake, and Stankoven together. And if you add Larkin, then your center depth at that point becomes Aho, Stankoven, Jordan Stahl, and Larkin. Whoever the other guy is.
And then our Chinaman.
And then Chinaman's in 13th forward where he belongs. He got a raise. It's fine. So I'm not upset with that at all. I know I had the whole Jankowski to China thing. I'm just saying the moment I stopped ragging on him, he started playing like shit. The moment I went back to it, he turned back into Jan Gretzky.
Hey, no,
so I had to do it.
Yeah.
He scored 2 goals that should have counted and 1 goal that did count that was absolutely clutch. So
see, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's such a bad hockey player that more goals he scores come off the board than stay on the board. That's a skill issue. No, I'm kidding. It's not. That's the war room is biased issue. But
Jankowski over KK.
Well, at this point, it's how I feel about that is irrelevant.
Hey,
because
that's Stanley Cup champion KK to you, Sam. I'll have you know. That is Stanley Cup. Put some respect on him.
And
that
Stanley
Cup
Jankowski.
champion and Stanley Cup champion Nick Delorier and Stanley Cup champion Pyotr Kochetkov. Okay.
Now, I'm going to hate to see KK go, but he needs to go somewhere where he can play because it's not going to happen here. And you don't need to have a nearly $5 million.
Play 41 regular season games and win another cup.
At that point, you start having that conversation. Like, see, the only thing I'm worried about with that, there's one guy that has 3 World Series rings, and all he did was pinch run. I can't remember his name. He played for the Braves too, and I'm surprised I can't remember his name. So I'm kind of
I
like,
know you're talking about.
yeah, I can't remember his name
Your
for the
name
life of me
escaped
right
but
now.
I think I know who that is.
Yeah, he's got 3 World Series rings, and all he did was pinch run. Never took an at bat, never took the field, and he's got 3 World Series rings. So, like, if KK wants to be that guy in the NHL, so be it. I don't think that should be a thing, personally.
Nick Delorier is going to be that guy. I mean, like he's
that's fine, but
the hype man.
Well, Delorier's the hype man that apparently sprays beer all over everybody and at Teats that Bates Battaglia owns, and he just goes in the lineup when he needs to and beats the shit out of people. So, like, I'm good with that.
I'm fine with that.
He knows his role.
I'm fine with him sticking around for that. That's fine.
Delorier's staying. I'm convinced of that. He knows his role. He just needs to go hit the heavy bag until he's called upon.
And so yeah, I mean, in terms of off season, I mean, what with someone like Larkin or even any other potential free agent, I think they're going to come to us. We don't have to go to them. We don't have to go to anyone. There might be some free agents that come to us to be like, hey, please let me play for your team. And maybe if we can find room.
Well, see, the other thing is,
that's what Orlov did, and Orlov, all right.
See, the other thing is, though, it's like that them winning this year. I mean, the McDavid sweepstakes is about to happen, especially if they hire Mike Babcock. I don't think he's staying there.
Excellent.
And we don't know what's going to happen with Matthews in Toronto.
I'd rather get McDavid personally. I mean, I'm just saying.
Like, sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, but if he saw this, he's like, this team just went 16-3 and won a Stanley Cup, and 16-3 in the playoffs and won a Stanley Cup without me. What can they do with me? And then on top of that, he won't have to kill penalties anymore, because you can tell by the look on his face he doesn't want to do that. So he wouldn't have to kill penalties anymore. He wouldn't have to make up for the defensive deficiencies of that team and constantly outscore their problems, nearly single-handedly helped only by Draisaitl and in select cases Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Evan Bouchard.
Semi-competent goaltending.
Competent goaltending that's not, you traded Stuart Skinner for Tristan Jarry, I think it was, right? Like, what good did that do? Like, that was literally the he ain't do nothing but step back meme. That's all it was. And I'm like, why? Well, like, why even bother? Like, it's just competent goaltending, incredibly competent defense. You don't have to eat as many minutes as you do. Like, he's got a really, and the media won't eat you alive here.
To him that I think, except maybe, I think the competition is maybe Florida, but Florida's getting old and their goaltending is in question.
Florida doesn't have the assets to trade for him,
or the cap space,
Florida might be targeting Hellebuck.
I don't know what they're going to use to get him, because they don't have. See, that's the thing. Everyone's like Big Bad Florida. Big Bad Florida's reign is coming to an end.
It's closing.
ISIS will gain control of Syria before Florida wins another cup.
So I'm glad you said that, because I think, what was it? Shannon, the hockey guy, he had a video of like
a couple of those.
You saw that? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Canes is open, and it's going to be open for a good long while. Florida's
about a decade.
Yep.
No, yeah.
Especially considering they're going to trade
because he's
first round picks back and draft more players this year, even though it looks like they can't. They're going to find a way to do it.
I'll go over my draft in a bit. We'll save that for another show. I got my first round right here, and when I put it together, I put it together like before the finals. I put the Hurricanes at 31st because I believed, and I didn't have to change it.
Oh, speaking of that, though, I figured out what we're going to do during the draft, and I'd like to have both of you here.
Yeah.
When we do it, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to do playoff player grades while we're waiting on the Hurricanes to inevitably trade back their pick, which is what happened last time. So
I fully expect it.
They have to.
They only got 4 picks.
Yeah, they're going to have to. There's no way they're walking out of a draft with less than 9 players picked. They just don't do that.
The only way, I mean, they're definitely going to want to. The only thing that could maybe not make that happen is if no other team wants to play ball, which is possible in this draft because the draft is so good. So if
Chicago wouldn't say no to another high pick if they trade with them again.
I mean, yeah, but the draft is so deep that, trading up is really stupid. Put it that way in this draft. Trading up is stupid. So now there are plenty of stupid teams out there. So the Canes are going to find somebody who's stupid enough to do it. So yeah, but if they're smart, they won't. So but anyway, I digress.
But yeah, we'll do player grades during the draft, so that way we have something of substance to talk about instead of sitting here and drooling on ourselves. While, I mean, that kid that Anaheim drafted, McQueen, was meeting Lightning McQueen before the Hurricanes traded back their pick. That's how long that took.
Yeah.
We were live for what, 4.5 hours that night?
Yeah. And you're also trying too with
nuts
pick of who they'll draft, and then a player right before Carolina traded their pick got picked. That was on your list, Brandon. And you're like, come on.
Yeah, they traded everybody. What are you doing, weirdo? He dropped his little dog dish.
That was a night to remember and forget.
Yeah, it's
the
like,
time with you guys is good. The everything else was just ridiculous.
When they trade, when they didn't get Mason West, I was already mad enough. And then when Colin Potter went, I was like, are we going to draft anybody tonight? Like, are we going to draft anybody at all, or are we just going to trade back for picks until we have the entire 7th round?
They got Reactor. He is playing really well.
He is.
He's playing well right now. So
he's got a couple more years before you'll see him, but everything's on the right track.
I wonder what the Kings are going to do with Nadeau.
He's going to play next year. He's going
to play next year because that's why I'm fully expecting Jarvis to get surgery on his rotator cuff, which he desperately needs.
And buddy, eat protein when that happens, and it'll heal faster. Nerds gummy clusters don't have that. Have a nice steak.
Yeah, he eats some meat.
If you've seen Jarvis like shirtless, he has some weight to him. He actually does.
No, he does, but I'm just saying his diet will not maintain that for very long. Yeah. I look at food now. Okay, so like the amount of guilt I felt for the things that I ate during Game 5 has not subsided yet. After the draft, I'm doing like a 5-day fast where I'm just going to drink water. And I have to be very strategic about it because I'm either starting a new job or an apprenticeship by then. And I don't want to be a total zombie, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, yo, I can't let myself get away with this.
It's funny you bring that up because during like the playoffs are so tense and I get so involved, I get so invested in it that I can't eat during the game. Like I can't eat. Like if I try to eat, I'll get queasy. And so I have to wait. I have to wait until the game's over before I can eat again. And it's just, man, I'm just so happy we got them one. We got like, and I am relieved because it was in another timeline, in another godforsaken timeline. This team is like the 2010 Sharks, and they just never get it. They just never get there. Thank God that is not this team. Thank God they got it done.
That's what I felt more than anything was relief.
Yes. And me too. But now the discourse is what a lot of the pundits, all the hockey shows that I've been watching said, is this a dynasty team? And it should be.
It certainly can be. It's got the framework for that. Certainly. It's the thing about it is Carolina won't have true vindication until they beat Florida. I want that to happen next year.
I want their ass. I want them so
they'll get their chance.
I want them, and I want them in round one. I want them right away.
Let's get them in the conference finals. I want to get them at the right time. Because it's like if Taylor Hall will do the same things that he did next season that he did this season, I'm much less worried about Sam Bennett because you have a countermeasure to him. I'm
fully healthy Walker and Miller.
Yeah, Walker's kind of a rat too. I like it.
Oh yeah,
he's good at doing stuff behind the play to irritate them. You don't really notice it on the broadcast, but when I'm at games, I'm like, yo, Walker's kind of irritating.
He flattened Marner.
Oh, yeah,
I think it was a game 4. He flattened.
He was the one who put the hit on William Karlsson too.
Yep.
Knocked him out.
Yep. But that was a vicious hit on Marner. He flattened him. And notice Marner, game 4 on, he got 1 assist and was a -5.
Yeah.
China. Yeah, man, I'm just so happy. Like I'm running out of ways to put it.
I got more emotional than happy though when they won.
I was just losing. I was a mess. I was an absolute insane freak. Just losing my mind.
Seeing Brandon Moore cry right after that
Yeah.
goal, oh, that got me so hard, man.
Him, Jarvis, Stahl, they're all sobbing. And one of the things that another thing that's just funny now, and I can't get over it, is that when the clock hits 0 and everyone's throwing their equipment into the air, Slavin, and he did this at the Team USA gold medal game too. He like takes off his gloves and just drops them.
And takes his helmet and just sets it down.
Just sets it down slowly onto the ice. While everyone else is flinging everything into the air as high as they can.
He's the calmest hockey player I've ever seen.
He's so different. Yeah, it's just he gently places his equipment on the ice. So he knows where it is so we can go get it. It's different. He's just different, man. It's incredible.
Imagine all the players trying to find their equipment, slaving.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Come on. You should have
done. I know where mine is, but I left it right over there.
Yeah, see, and it's like there's one other thing though. I know it did enough, but I don't want to see the Slavin and Chatfield pair again. I
can't argue with this team when they won the cup.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
Yeah, but how many more times is that going to work though? It's kind of like the whole Shea and Pesci thing. Like a lot of people freaked out about that and thought it was the end of the world. I'm like, yo, that pair ran its course, and nobody. I was one of the few people on Earth. I think you guys kind of agreed with me on it at the time, if I remember. But I remember most of the fandom lost their mind about that and thought it was the end of the world. And I'm over here saying that pair had ran its course. Those days are over. It was never going to be as good as it was. Everything has a shelf life. It was time to move on from both of them.
Sure. And like, I mean, at some point next year, we'll probably see the Stank Blaine Hall line broken up. I mean, we saw it in the series. I mean, in game 3.
Now that I don't know about.
They had to change something up in game 3. But in game 4, it kind of got back together and they got their act together again. Stankoven scored again, like right in the first minute of that game or second minute of that game. And so, I mean, I don't get, let's just talk about this real quick, because I mean, last year you saw something similar, but not quite as impressive with like the Lundell, Marchand, and Luciano line. That line was also pretty dominant and was incredibly effective, but they weren't close to this. They weren't close to nearly this firecracker volcano, insane efficiency and production that was Stankoven, Blake, and Hall. That is nuts. I've never seen that before. Like that in 20 years of watching the. I'm sure there have been lines that have been like that have reached that level in the past, maybe like in the 80s, like with a team like the '88 Oilers, which this team is now drawing comparisons to. And that team was busted at its all get out. That team was busted beyond belief. And it was Stankoven, Hall, and Blake that were doing everything, that were doing it all. How did they get to be that? Because we were thinking that, in the towards the end of the regular season that it was time for Hall to leave that line.
Yeah.
How did they do it?
Well, see, one thing I think happened near the end of the regular season, I think that a lot of the guys like subconsciously were backing off because they knew the important games were coming up. I'm not saying that they were consciously backing off, but they weren't going to play with the same intensity knowing that the important games were coming up.
And I get it. I'm mad.
In the last 2 weeks, I mean, that's actually where it started. That's when it started to when they started to take off was in the last, because Stankoven had that 7-game goal scoring streak.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Every first 6 games of the playoffs. Was it 13? Was that 11? Something ridiculous.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but that's when it started in the regular season. But then I wasn't expecting it to continue like this. And they just never let up. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. No, yeah. It's just so good. Yeah, I mean, maybe at some point in the 82 game season they'll get broken up, but
84 starting next year.
You're right. Excuse me.
Yeah, 84.
Oh, and then the season after that's really going to suck because it's 84 games and the World Cup of Hockey in the middle of it.
And aren't the Canes going to Finland?
Yeah, that too. They're playing 2 regular season games in Finland against the Kraken.
Nice.
I would love to go to that if I could afford it because I'm always wanting to go to Finland.
It's so expensive.
Yeah, it's like well, see, the thing is, I actually planned a trip to Finland because I wanted to skate on the Baltic Sea. because it freezes over. That would have been an amazing experience. Like I'm skating next to a ship that is frozen at more than frozen. Yeah, well, the former prime minister of Finland goes out there and plays all the time. I forget his name, but he goes out there and plays all the time. Like that was one of the things I was like, I want to do that. That looks cool. And I wanted to do. They have like the little clear igloo things you can rent out, and you can watch the Northern Lights. Take husky sled rides. There's all kinds of cool stuff there. I want to do that eventually, but more than anything, I wanted to skate on the Baltic Sea and finally skate on an outdoor rink. I've never got to. The only outdoor rink I ever skated on was in Laurel, Maryland. And there's about 3 months out of the year that you can have it there. It's really cool though. It actually snowed one of the times that I played on it. It was a lot of fun. It was also like really cool because I got to play without a helmet there because nobody was watching us. So I took that thing off and I was like, I'm playing pond hockey. If I break my neck doing this, I probably deserved it. So like I was just out there skating with like one of my beanies on or something. Like it was a lot of fun. And, you know, it's like I like doing stuff like that because it helps me remember, hey, it's just a game. It's made to be fun. But it's a hell of a lot more fun when you win. So
true. That's for damn sure. And they won. And games 5 and 6, it was dominant. That was what the series was supposed to look like from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
They got all messed up in the first 3 games. Don't know what was going on there. But games 5 and 6, that was what it was supposed to be.
Well, I mean, that series was never going to be easy, though. That's why when people were freaking
I know
out
that,
after game 1, I was kind of like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, but boy, I mean, let's talk about this because game two, that was when it was looking bleak. It was looking really bleak in game 2, and it was Stankoven who dragged us back in it.
Yeah,
it was that little boy. It was that kid who is my height.
5'7" 3/4. I think
5'7" 3/4. Yep, that is actually exactly my height. I like to say I'm 5'8". I'm not, not quite.
I say I'm 5'11", but I'm probably 5'10" 3/4 myself. And I don't really care.
But that little man went and mogged Rasmus Anderson behind the net and stuffed it in. Yeah. Rasmus, he was not good. Anderson was not good. Like wasn't. I didn't know. I thought he was a lot better player than this. And maybe it's just like a mismatch with the team with Vegas.
He's not coming back.
He's hitting the free agent market, and somebody's going to overpay for him.
Yeah,
and the funny thing is,
not going to be Carolina.
Yeah, no, we don't need him. The funny thing is, that's where he wanted to go, and it just was not a good fit. I mean, he can't complain too much, I guess, with getting to the finals, but he just looked out of place, and he was not good in the series.
I'll be right back.
I thought
keep talking.
I thought the turning point was game 4 when we came back and scored 3 goals in 30-something seconds. And obviously you had Bussy. You had Bussy. I think Bussy was a huge factor too. But I think us tying that game stunned Vegas to its core.
It did. No, it certainly did. From the point on, and I want to probably tell Brandon this too when he comes back, but when Martinook scored in game 3 to finally get us on the board, and then there was a fight, there was a brawl. Mm-hmm. That kickstarted the team, and that was really the turning point of the series. Because even though we won game 2, Vegas felt that they should have won, and they probably should have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And but when that came up, when we had talked about it in our chat. Was it better to come back and lose in double overtime, which is heartbreaking, or is it better to just punt that game completely and flush it and move on to game 4? Obviously in retrospect, the comeback, that was definitely helpful. That was immensely helpful. And I told them, it's like, look, whatever happened there, that was like bad 10 minutes of hockey. The Canes were actually good in the first period of that game. They were pretty good.
They were. Yeah.
And so for like a good 85% of that game, the Canes were the better team. And they should have won. They should have won that. It was fluky bounce in double overtime.
It was.
That was heartbreaking, but credit to them. They took the right thing for that game. It's like, no. And especially when I think that they know that Bussy's coming in, because not that they were like giving up on Freddie or anything, but I think they knew that, that Bussy was going to be better. And especially after what he did in the third period, they knew in the third period of game 3 and going on, they said like, yeah, we should win this. And then that absolute frame it in the Louvre, get me. I'm going to have a print behind me of Stahl's game-winning goal in game 4. That also was
that was big.
Play of the series. Play of the series right there.
The Stahl face down goal, I think, was my favorite moment of the playoffs because I immediately went on X and wrote Alex Ovechkin who, because that was way prettier than that goal that he scored.
That's every bit of Bobby Orr right there, flying through the air.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
Like that. It didn't win the Stanley Cup, so I guess there's that. Like it wasn't the Stanley Cup winning goal, but it was every bit as impressive.
My favorite goal was the Aho goal.
That one
I got to see that. That was cool. I was there.
Yeah, man. Tell me about your game 5 experience, man. I was jealous.
Well, we got to meet Jonathan Stewart. That was really cool.
Really?
Yeah, he was walking through the parking lot with he had one of those handheld sirens. And he's walking through there. Me and AB are standing there and we're like, yo, is that Jonathan Stewart? He's like, yeah. So me, him, a couple other guys got a picture with him. That was really cool. I remember that entire game, but when I stood up at the end of the third period, that's when the intoxication hit me. And it wasn't just the alcohol. It was just the idea that like the Carolina Hurricanes are one win away from a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And we were out there partying at the end and everything like that. And I spent a little bit more money on DoorDash than I should have because I was hungry. And that's why I'm like, I have to do a 3-day fast. But yeah, it was really cool meeting Jonathan Stewart. He was just having all the fun in the world. Like you would never think that he was an NFL player. He's just such a down to earth, like normal dude.
He's a great guy. And I love how he became such a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
Like he's a fan. He's a fan of hockey now. And he loves it. And I love that he loves it. It's great.
And there's a lot of people that are taking that up now. It's like, John Eisner's a really big Hurricanes fan. And like,
what's his name? Haaland, whatever his name is.
The Norwegian soccer player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even know who he was until all that. And they're like, and they said he scored 50. And they said he scored 55 goals in 50 World Cup, 50 like international games. And I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about soccer, and I even know that's a big deal. Because scoring in soccer is hard. I mean, Mark Jankowski couldn't score in soccer, like I don't think, because he missed the net.
The goal with no goalkeeper there, and however large it is, 18, whatever it is.
He just straight up Megan Rapinoe the hell out of a couple of shots in the playoffs. I was like, and immediately people were tagging me like, yeah, you know what, you're
right. Hey, he scored a clutch as hell goal.
That's 2. What I don't understand about him. Yep. 2 inches of room over the shoulder on the glove side. Bam, it's in the net.
Bar down. Yeah.
7.5 feet of a 6x4 net in the crowd. It's good. It's a home run. It's anything but a good goal in hockey. Unless you're playing bandy in Russia where they use the big nets. And I'm like, how in the another gimmick I'm going to do, I'm going to get me a little Chinese flag, and when I do watch parties, and I'm going to wave it every time that someone does something I disapprove of, so I'm going to be waving it the entire freaking game.
Nice. That's great. That's awesome, man. Yeah, so but tell me, like, just the experience of being there in game 5. Like that had to be incredible. Like at the watch party in game 3, to my shame, I'll admit this, I left at 4-0 after the third period. I left. And then I was disgusted and pissed.
Don't worry, Dave Canales saved us, which I met him too at that.
Yeah. I'll say 5. This, like when the goals that got overturned were overturned, the crowd went nuts, and that was great. And actually that was really, it was like scoring a goal. It was that level of intensity. But me and my wife, we leave. We're heading home, and just as I'm about to walk in my house, I get a text from Canadian Al, our friend, mutual friend. He says, "Are you watching?" One day. He says, "Are you watching?" I'm like, "No." He says, "Turn it back on." I'm like, "What?" He says, "It's 4-3. Turn it back on." I'm like, "What?" and so I actually rewind. I watched the playback from the beginning of the third period, and starting watching the third period, I'm like, "They're getting caved in again." Mitch Marner's got a penalty shot. You're telling me it became 4-3? I don't believe you. And then I said, like, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, and then Svetch ties it. The freaking they should have won that game.
Speaking of that,
and then
Marner
they closed
penalty
it
shot,
on game 5.
I
That's
know.
fine. That's fine. I can't complain. Not going to complain.
Speaking of that Marner penalty shot, Dave Portnoy wrote one of the most brain dead things I've ever seen. Aho chopped Marner. That's why Marner got the penalty shot. Nobody's arguing with that. Dave Portnoy comes in there after eating his 7th pizza of the day and says, I hope someone breaks Aho's nose or something, and he should get suspended for that. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Lay off of the Sam Adams lager, dude. You were doing it way too much.
You have to do something so bad to get suspended in a playoff game.
Sidney Crosby dismembered somebody and didn't even get a penalty.
Yeah.
Don't give me that.
What else do you think? This guy doesn't have a fucking.
Sidney Crosby took Mark Mathot's finger off, and they're like, oh, no, it's fine. Go get it sewed back on. He couldn't even get it sewed back on. They had to give him a prosthetic.
That guy's a putz. That Portnoy's he's an absolute worthless.
I think everyone at Barstool is. I think that they just do they hire dumb people on purpose?
Like
the only ones I like over there are Ryan Whitney and Paul Bisnett, and they say things that piss me off on the regular.
But to be fair, they did have to eat. They did have to eat. A ton of crow, especially Ryan Whitney. I did see the latest episode they did with Trip Tracy.
Yeah,
and that was good, and yeah, I mean, this team could do it again and again.
Oh, absolutely,
and again, and I'm here for it, man. It's different now because another channel I like this guy, even though obviously the Panthers are our nemesis, but Flying Fluffy. He mentioned this, like, when your team wins, it changes you as a fan. It's like nothing bothers you anymore. Like the anxiety is kind of like it's not there anymore. And because like I 20 years taught me to expect disappointment and expect everything to go wrong. And like, how is it going to go wrong this time? I don't feel that now. It's gone.
I know.
That feeling's gone. And it feels so good. Damn, it feels good to be a champion.
It feels good. It feels good and it feels weird just because it's like, isn't there something I'm supposed to be disappointed about? But there isn't.
Well, and see, that's the cool thing. It's like, it's not like they won at the end of the window. It's like you're right at the beginning of the new one they opened by not being stupid during 24 free agency when so many people were losing their minds about that. And I'm like, it's like, it was like, all right, when I looked at it, going back to the Shea and Pesci thing, the guys you replace them with, Walker and Gostisbehere, you get more production out of both of them. And at this point, Walker's probably just as good at defending as Pesci is. And that's not because Pesci sucks. It's because Pesci has a CVS receipt length list of injuries.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't see why people freaked out about that so much. They were like, oh my God, losing Steph Nason's the end of the world. And I say this as someone who really liked Steph Nason. Like, does William Carrier give you those results?
Eric Robinson, I thought, filled that void.
Eric Robinson was someone I was completely wrong about. I didn't even think he was going to make the team.
He's been monumentally impressive. And he can finish too.
Yeah.
Like he can play in the top 9 if we need him to.
I had to China him though to get it to happen because for a little while it was like he gets on a breakaway and I'm like, yay, Eric Robinson on a breakaway. Oh,
hey, look, he put it past. He scored on a penalty shot. He scored on a penalty shot this year. That's like the dude's got a shot. He can do it.
Yeah, but he's the best depth scorer on the team. Yeah. That's why he's the best. Robinson's the best depth scorer on the team, but it's like, that was why I was happy when they signed Carrier, because now that you've seen what he can do when he can play most of the season, he brings he's a difference maker in terms of the intangibles.
Oh,
he was hitting everybody.
Not only that, and that he's got some vision too, because that pass and that how he stayed on side and doing the full splits and then just
he didn't have to do that because
soft hands perfect pass. Yeah, but soft hands perfect pass to catch Jenkins Stride, who inexplicably scored a goal. And he's got some talent too. He's not just a wrecking ball. And I love his plan. There's just when he gets the puck in the offensive zone, he just takes it right to the house.
Yeah, his puck protection
plan.
is really good too. He's really good at like getting low in his stance and being able to, to bring the stick in close and pop the shoulders out and everything like that to keep guys from taking the puck away from him. Like Carrier is really good at that. Like that's why I was really happy when they signed him. I was like, yeah, Carolina needs a player like this, and that's worked out incredibly well. I hope that when he's healthy, and he got a raise out of the cap going up, which is really cool. So it's like, no, they made all this goes back to them being patient in the 24 offseason and not paying Brady Shea $49 million because Nashville is already regretting that.
It also
goes
to show that, as one urinating tree pointed out today,
he's still a thing.
Yeah, he's still a thing. But
did he move into his own house yet?
Out of that, I don't know. But what he did point out today, and this is true, that everything happens for a reason. Hitler spurned us, but that led to Hall, Ehlers, Miller, and Stankoven.
Yep.
Stankoven alone might have been worth not having Mikko Rantanen, just to be perfectly honest.
Well, the hockey guy, he doesn't even Shannon. He's not liking that trade apparently for Dallas.
It's the Stankoven trade, by the way. That's
at this point. You name it after the most important player in the trade, and
the best player.
Yeah, and he ended up being that. That's one of the best parts about it is knowing that Mikko Rantanen was sitting at home on the couch watching Carolina win the cup without him because he wanted to be a diva. Like I'm sorry, but like if my wife told me to take a $16 million pay cut, I'd be finding a new wife. I'm not doing that. Like I'm not. No,
that is ridiculous. But hey, thank you. Everything happens for a reason, and it worked out for the best.
And same thing with like Patrick Marleau didn't want to play for the Hurricanes, and that's how Seth Jarvis is here. So all right, I'll take that deal 10 times out of 10.
And frankly, Getzel. I mean, the organization hardballed him there, and they shouldn't have. But you had the contract. You knew it worked. You knew this worked for you. Go on down to Tampa. Get lost. Who needs you?
Tampa's one of those teams.
They say those who want to be here are here.
Yep.
With the cup.
That's where I find some curiosity, though, when it comes to Tampa. They're a team I look at, and I don't definitively say that they're going to be good again, but I also don't definitively say they're going to get worse. They could go either way, if you ask me. Because, it's like, okay, Carolina's current core, it's almost like Carolina has two cores. You have one that's Aho, Svechnikov, Stahl, Martinook, etc. Then you have another one that's Stankoven, Blake, Miller, or let me throw Slavin in there on the first core as well. And then you have some guys who are kind of in between, like Walker, and then you can throw Nikishin in there on the lower core, if you will. And then you have this really stacked prospect pool where you have three players who are potentially NHL ready with nowhere to play at the moment. I don't see that type of construction with Tampa.
Tampa doesn't have anywhere near as deep a farm. No, in fact, there are very few people that do. Montreal's got a good farm. Utah's got a really good farm.
Buffalo
has got a pretty decent farm. But yeah, like Tampa, I mean, they still have good. Obviously, they have good players. Hedman is a shell of himself.
I think the injuries are what did him in, though. And I hate seeing that because I like Victor Hedman. Also, fun fact about Victor Hedman. Victor Hedman's an airplane nerd.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you knew that. Yeah. So there was they did an article on him a few years ago where he went over to I think he went over to Tyndall Air Force Base, and he was in the F-15 simulator there, I think it was. And apparently he's got a really big love of aviation, which, I'm always cool with that. Yeah. So I'm not saying bring him to Carolina because of that, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's really cool because, well, see, one thing I wanted to do, and I wish I'd been on the internet already, so maybe I could have made this work. You know how Dougie Hamilton really liked museums? When I still lived up in the Northern Virginia area, I didn't live too far from the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. I would have loved to have taken Dougie Hamilton through there and talked his ear off about literally everything in there. I would have been because there's so many aircraft in there, and I can tell you so much about so many of them. I could be like, well, this does this does that. Like, that would have been cool for me if I could have done something like that. I would have loved to have done that.
Yeah, man. And like, think about this. there is the only team in the East that could potentially like scare me is Florida. But even then,
I'm not as scared of them as I was.
That's just because, that's just really from just what's happened in the past. It really doesn't have anything to do with what's going on now. They don't have any goaltending.
Who are they going to
Bob
draft?
Is cooked.
That's something I want to know.
I know who they're going to draft. At least
who are they going to
have
draft?
a strong suspicion. Probably Ethan Belchetz.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he will be good for them if they get him. Like he is what they'd want. And he is what if I was Bill Zito, that's who I'd want. But he's not going to be a factor next year or even for probably several years. So like their core is aging. Barkov is a phenomenal player, but he's coming off major surgery and then didn't play all year. And I don't know. I mean, I think they'll be in the playoffs next year for sure, but I don't know how good they'll be. I don't know how actually dangerous they will be. I mean, they can turn it on when the time comes, typically, but I think the Canes are a better team now, and I want a chance to prove it.
Yeah, and then the other thing that I find strange, like the thing about it is Carolina was the first team to win the cup with the cap enforced during the cup, if I remember correctly. That started this year.
Yep, after the lockout.
So how many of the last few teams won over the salary cap, like major amounts of money over the salary cap? Vegas did it, and Florida
twice,
did it.
And Florida twice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Tampa did it twice.
Yep.
So it's like one of their biggest assets was Mark Stone going on vacation in February and being injured. I'm sorry, I'm never going to believe that he actually was. I don't like him, so I'll just throw that in there while I'm at it. I
Vegas can't use that loophole anymore.
Nobody can.
Yeah, nobody can.
And now Carolina, in the first year that's not a thing, they dominated the playoffs. They didn't just narrowly win. They were dominant. The last 5 periods they played against Vegas, between periods 2 and 3 in Game 5 and the 3 periods in Game 6, they were the better team the majority of it. Even when Vegas did get their looks, Carolina was giving them nothing in the middle of the ice. The gaps were excellent. It was about the best defensive performance you could have. And Jacob Slavin had, and this is saying something when I say this, Jacob Slavin had the best game of his life.
Legacy
and that
game,
is saying something.
Game 6, legacy game, legend.
Yeah, and that's with him being hurt.
Yep. And they had, Vegas had nothing at 5-on-5. Not a thing. The only time they got looks was on the power play or that one breakaway in the 4-on-4.
They had
nothing 5-on-5.
Vegas's power play did scare me, though, at times.
It was scary.
On paper, it's good.
It had a lot of in fact, I think maybe if you look at expected goals, I actually think their power play was better than ours in the expected goals. But they didn't finish. We got in their heads.
Yeah.
They only had 2. We got 6. So, yeah. I mean,
Carter Hart is not a Sergei Bobrovsky type of goalie.
Nope.
He should have had that Taylor Hall goal.
He got, I think, maybe, because I think he let in, I don't know, goals above expected. I think it's about even for him in the series. So he wasn't, I could be mistaken, but at least on the eye test, he let in a couple of goals that, you like a save, but it can't really say that it was a softie. I didn't see any really soft goals.
Although Game 6 was his best game out of all.
It was. And in fact, the softest goal, even it came in his best game, which was Taylor Hall's opening goal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But even that, it's not, it wasn't, he came in alone. It was at an angle, but he still came in alone.
Yeah.
Sometimes a shooter just wins when they're in alone and they have a clean look from the dot.
And Vegas let go Tortorella today.
Well, I think he was planning on calling it quits anyway.
I think that was probably prearranged.
He was basically going to come in and coach this team and hang it up after that, from what I understood. So Carter Hart had 59 goals against with and this is throughout the entirety of the playoffs, with a 56.32 against. So he was above expected through the playoffs as a whole by 6.32.
Specifically in the finals?
No, just in the whole playoffs. Now, if we're talking specifically the finals, let me try and find that, because I'm on Natural Stat Trick looking at it right now.
Sure. because what I saw on on some money puck in some of the games, the Hurricanes were they scored at about the expected level in each game. So
some people in the comments, and I actually agree, are saying that Olmark was actually the toughest goalie.
He was.
Yes.
He was by far the best goalie we faced.
And if Vladar hadn't been hurt, he would have been more of a problem.
Yeah.
Dobish had a few good games, but then we got to him.
Dobish is only going to get better, though. That guy's good.
True. He is a good goalie. He's definitely a good goalie. Yeah. I mean, but we got Brandon Bussey, man. We got the freaking bus.
Oh, man.
We got the bus stops here.
Carter Hart actually got annihilated in the finals. 22 goals against, or not annihilated. Or, yeah, he was. Expected goals against 6.99, goals against 22.
So that's basically goals against 6?
16.99.
16. Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, so
okay.
that's basically
we
7.
Better. Yeah,
basically 17. So yeah, he was 5 below.
I was wrong.
yeah. He gave up 5 above expected.
Okay, yeah, that's not great. That's not great at all.
Yeah.
Not to say that Aiden Hill would have really been a lot better. I don't know. I mean, because some of the weird, let me see if it's still that way. Because when I checked Money Puck on Game 6, they actually said Vegas deserved to win the game 70% of the time, and I couldn't believe it. Let's see if it still says that.
That's why I don't really like Money Puck's model. That's why I don't like.
Yeah,
the guy
it's still they've got Vegas winning Game 6 70% of the time.
Well, I don't buy it. I don't buy it
for 1 second.
I don't like Money Puck's owner either because of that stuff he did on Slavin's page after the Olympics because he was being a sore Canadian loser. So I stopped using their website entirely. I actually even DM'd him and I told him, because I was talking to him about something that I thought would be good for that website at one point, and I just never got around to messaging him again. And he's like, the last message I got from him was over that interaction where he said, yeah, we're always looking for ideas. And I wrote, have your kids close your ears. I wrote back, I said, here's an idea, go fuck yourself. And I won't say what he said back because it's something that if I had a lawyer, he would have regretted saying it. But I wasn't going to make that big of a deal about it.
Well, not only does that suck, but his model sucks there. To think that Vegas would win that game 70% of the time.
Natural stat trick is significantly better.
Natural stat trick, okay.
I will take.
Does it have a a simulated game?
So what they have is they have the heat maps and stuff on there, but it leaves a little bit more for you to determine on your own. Than it doesn't have a deserve to win a meter or something like that on it. It just kind of gives you the data itself and gives you the heat maps, and you kind of interpret it on your own from there. Money Puck has all the cute colors and everything, which is fine, but I'd rather just have the data. I don't need all the fancy stuff.
Yeah,
I know. Old man yells at cloud. I know.
Sure, it's fine, man.
Okay, I have to ask you guys this question because this question was asked on my recap episode of Game 6. Does Jordan Stahl decide to be like, I won the Conn Smythe, I won the Stanley Cup, I'm going to go out on a high and retire?
Yeah, he can do that next year.
I don't think so. I also was people were saying, even Elliot Friedman was saying that maybe Rod Brindamore was going to hang it up after this, and I'm like,
I think he's hungrier now.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing that at all. He said something. He mentioned that coaching had a shelf life in one of the post-game interviews, but all that he said the same thing when he was hired. Well, I think I was just echoing that. Yeah.
The thing is, though, he's perfectly ripe now on the shelf because he went from having his 2 worst years as a coach, which when I say they were his worst years as a coach, I don't mean that he was coaching bad. He just made bad decisions at very consequential times, i.e. Kuznetsov and Comtois, Morrow and Nikishin, stuff like that. Yeah. And then he had the best year he's ever had as a coach, and it was significantly better than any of his good years as a coach. So, that's saying something. It was even better than the 22-23 team, which that team had no business getting as far as it did with all the injuries it had. So this was what I think he would have done in 22-23 if he had a fully healthy team. So...
Yeah, and
I would hate for him to leave now because he is in a perfect position to win another one. The same thing goes for Jordan Stahl. This is about as good of a chance you have at repeating as you get. It's still below average, or it's above average for repeating.
They're betting
because they've got a better chance of doing it. But it's incredibly hard to do that, and there's no such thing as good odds at repeating. If you're above average, that's the best that it gets, and that's where I think the Canes are at right now.
They're the betting favorites. And obviously you take the field over one team, but still, I no, Stahl. He'll come back next year.
Well, I think
and so Brendan Moore. I think Brendan Moore, I think will coach this team for another decade.
Well, I would also like to
when
see
he is. Sorry, go ahead.
If Rod does decide he doesn't want to coach anymore, I would like for him to run a shadow government through Justin Williams and make him the coach. That's what I want to happen.
Like
yeah.
I don't know if Williams wants to coach, but he would. Jordan Stahl would be an excellent coach. That would be cool. But I mean, he has also got a lot of young kids though, so I mean, he might not want to do it.
So does Brendan Moore. His kids are. He's got Skylar's old, but he's got kids like.
Yeah, that's true.
13. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he wants to spend more time coaching Brooks. Yeah, dude, like I thought Skylar looked like him. Brooks looks a ton like him. It's like a clone.
Like
yes.
I can't wait to see his career. What his career turns out to be.
We watch his career with great interest.
Yeah.
I think with Stahl, I think
gets drafted and what is like bidding my master.
Yeah.
that was the only good thing that happened in that draft video was some of the jokes. Because God, we were on here forever.
Oh, we were. But yeah, I think if Stahl did not have another year on his contract, I'd be a little bit more concerned.
He'll play. And Rod Brindamore is going to. Yeah, I think Rod Brindamore is going to coach for another decade. The job is his until he wants. And this solidified it. The job is his.
It did. And he should be in the Hall of Fame. I think this further cemented that.
Rod's going to be behind the bench coaching even when he needs a walker, and I'm not talking about the one that plays defense.
That it is his until he wants to stop. That has been absolutely solidified in stone now. It is his until he wants to stop, and I don't think he wants to stop. I think he'll come back for many more years.
Well, like I said in that post that I made right before we went live, I got so pissed off at some of the stuff he did because I know he's good at his job. If I didn't think he was good at his job, I wouldn't get mad about it. And then this year, he finally proved everything that I believed in with him. You know, it's like a lot of people talk when Panarin was on the market. A lot of people were talking about bringing him to Carolina. And I was like, no, I didn't want to bring Panarin in because I believe too much in Rod's philosophy to bring a player like that in. So, and he managed to get them to score more often off the rush, mind you, with a lot of the players he already had from last season, Sands, Ehlers, and Miller primarily. Yeah.
Ehlers changed a lot. That had a lot of ramifications up and down the lineup. Ehlers, infusion into this team. But I tell you, so to that point, the point on Rod's coaching this year, I crashed out after game 1 against Montreal. We all know this. I had a big crash out. I was really, really angry because they beat us in the same way that Montreal beat us 3 times in the regular season. And yes, they had 11 days off, and that definitely showed. But still, I crashed out because the adjustment, which I saw as obvious, took too long to implement. It should have been pre-implemented. And that still was a mistake. But he did fix it. Whereas he doubled down on his mistakes in previous playoffs. He did adjust and he did fix it. And then the Montreal had no answer. Montreal had no plan B.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad. Again, I still think it was you could have led with that. You could have led with the tactical adjustment that was needed, but he did get to it, and then they did run the table. And after that, much by the way, they never trailed against Ottawa. From games 2 through 5, they never trailed against Montreal.
Yeah, that was my biggest criticism of Brindamore in the past was adjusting, and this season it was not a problem at all. Not regular season or playoffs, it was not an issue.
Well, for me, with Brindamore in the playoffs was like when we were down 4-0 in game 3. I was just like, is he going to go to Bussy? Because we've seen Anderson play too many games. In fact, I was an advocate of playing Bussy probably, I think, when we were up 3-0 against Ottawa. Just because I was like, please get this guy some playoff action. And they never did. But eventually, I thought Rod made the right choice of going to Bussy, and it turned out to pay dividends. So,
I mean, that was the series. That was the turning point of that series. Was not game 4. It was game 3. It was the third period of game 3. That was it, because that put Bussy on the map. It gave the team belief in goaltending again. and then they came back and they should have won. And like when you left, Sam and I, we had mentioned this, Brandon, because we had talked in the chat after Game 3. Was it better for them to have come back and lose heartbreaking in double overtime, or just to completely punt that game? And you said it, and you were right, because I wasn't sure, but you were correct that the comeback is definitely the better of those two.
There were only 3 ways that game was going to end, and they got the second best outcome because, well, I'll say this. They got the second best outcome, and the third option was a very distant third bad result, and that was maybe scoring once in the third period and going out basically without a whimper. They did when I saw them capable of scoring 3 goals in 39 seconds, I was like, all right, they've got something here. Like, that was the biggest thing. It's like these guys have the mentality of not going away. And when the puck's going in the net for you, when you're not going away, like, that shifted the momentum of that entire, even though they lost that game, that 39-second sequence where they scored 3 times was, I think, what was ultimately the catalyst of them winning the series.
Yep. That was where the series turned, was Game 3.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? I think it was Pittsburgh it was either the 2016 or 17 draft where Fleury wasn't playing good. They put in Matt Murray, and things changed for them. So it's interesting how maybe
they've done that twice.
Yeah. It's interesting how changing a goalie can mess up another team's psyche. Kind of.
Because Vegas did not adjust to Bussy. They could not adjust to him.
No. And they didn't have time to either. The series was already so far along at that point.
Yeah. But I mean, it was still like, I mean, you expect professionals, especially professionals of the caliber of Vegas. And Vegas is a high quality opponent. Let's give them that accolade. Yeah. High quality opponent. Definitely the best team we had to face, which is as it should be. They couldn't. They had kind of did what they executed their game plan against Freddie, but they just couldn't adjust to Bussy. And it not just inability on their part, but that's credit to Bussy. Again, he throws shooters off. It's something about his style. It's not just the right-handed glove. He is extremely explosive, extremely athletic.
You know who he reminds me of?
He never gives up on the play.
No, well, okay, Mrazek if he was about 4 times better, but who he really reminds me of is Tim Thomas. How aggressive he is with the way he attacks the shooter, and that threw the Canucks off in the 2010 finals or 2011, whatever it was. That threw them off a lot. The only way they were able to beat him was Game 6 when BX took the shot intentionally off of the kick plate behind the net, and whoever it was buried the rebound. And then in the interview, Bieksa did the dumbest thing ever and said, "Yeah, we worked on that in practice." You don't tell them that. You tell them that was an accident. And he knew what to look for Game 7, and they never were able to do that again. Or he did it in Game 5, I should say. And they were never able to do anything like that to him again because he was prepared for it. So I personally wouldn't tell the media anything about that. I would just sit there and shout out to the late, great Kyle Busch. I would just sit there and say everything's great over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, Bussy definitely threw him off and got in their heads.
Oh, yeah. I seriously thought there were points they were going to tie or just break through in Game 6 just because that's been the theme in the playoffs.
Well, let's just go through them. Like the save at the end of the first period of Game 6, that lunging from right to left, we got it with his, not even with the blocker, it was over the blocker. It was like his
little shoulder. It was
mid-arm, yeah, but it was like a little it was like between the shoulder and the blocker.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
And that's a very awkward place to stop it. And he got over and stopped Dorofeyev on a cross the Royal Road one-timer. That was actually probably the most impressive save that he made in the whole game. But also, obviously,
and the hurdle save too. Well,
that too, but like
speaking of coming across the net, that one where Svechnikov missed the open net and they didn't record it as a shot on goal. I have a conspiracy theory about that, sorta.
That was on net.
Svechnikov was not trying to put that puck in the net directly. He was trying to bounce it off of Hart and get it to go in because of the angle he was at. Because it had a better chance of going.
Yeah,
he had a better chance to bounce it off of Hart and put it in the net than he did to put it in the net directly from that angle. I legitimately believe Andrei Svechnikov was trying to put that puck off of Carter Hart's side and in. I really think that's what he was trying to do. If it had worked, it would have been great, but it was a 1 in a million shot. And you already got one of those with Jordan Staal scoring face down. So Jordan Stahl's over here in the prone position, putting pucks in the net.
Yeah. Aho had that great chance on the power play, and so did Goss had another great chance on the power play. I thought those were going to go. Hart made a pretty good save on those. But then there was the breakaway stop that Bussy made on Howden. That was spectacular. Yeah. Stayed upright. Didn't go to the butterfly. Buss got balls. And then on Hurdle with 2.5 minutes left from his ass. That was like Cam Ward had that iconic save on Pisani.
Oh yeah, that goal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But those three,
bro, these guys have destroyed the cup. Oh my god!
Yeah. I'm seeing
that
thing is
mangled it.
That thing is
like
that thing is
mangled.
That thing has been under the anvil. That has been absolutely.
I thought it was bad when the Caps mangled it, but
God, they have abused.
They're gonna have to build a new one.
Okay, it's obvious though. They're not holding the actual real cup. They're not.
If they are, it's going to be disintegrated by the time.
That thing has been absolutely abused.
I just saw a video of that on X. Gossesbear's walking out of Teats with, oh my god, it is destroyed.
That thing has been absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That thing is like it's an oval now. It's not a bowl. It has been absolutely mangled. I mean, I know that they can repair. I mean, I thought that happens with somewhat regularity, but maybe it's just this team has just been chasing it for so long that they're just beating the shit out of it. It is ridiculous. But yeah, I saw that too. I think is mangled beyond recognition.
Yeah,
almost. But I like the problem. What's his name? Pritchard, the keeper. He's probably losing his his hair's all falling out now. He's not going to have long hair.
And he didn't have much left to begin with. It was starting to go anyway. Speaking of hair, Gossesbear needs to just let it go, man. It's over. Let it go. I'm speaking from experience. Let it go.
Who is all that shit? Hall shaved, Martinook shaved. Jordan Staal didn't shave yet.
Yes, he
Jordan
did.
Martinook looks like. Oh, he did.
Staal did shave.
Staal did shave. Okay.
Jordan Martinook looks like a completely different person without a beard.
Yeah, he does.
I remember the first time
I was like, "That's it. Who's that?"
When they broke the playoff drought, he shaved like right before the playoffs started in 2019. I'm like, who the hell is that guy? And I'm like, he looks completely different without a beard. I mean, a lot of guys do, but Martinook looks completely different.
I think Jarvis looks different.
Jarvis should have stuck with the Jack Sparrow look. I thought that was cool. Yeah, that was awesome.
And finally, I was able, because it was starting to get bad. I mean, I trim regularly, but it was like I don't in between series, and of course this one went the longest, so it was starting to get uneven, itchy as all get out. I was like, freaking hey, they better win tonight.
Bro, with the beard I had, there's no way they were letting me on a commercial airliner with the beard I had. It was bad. Did you go the whole playoffs? Or the last time I got my beard trimmed was April the 2nd. And even then it was still pretty long. And the only reason it's chopped this much is because I had a job interview today. So I had to make, and the cool thing is I'm worried I'm not going to get this job now because, so I had one thing going for me. One of the guys in there is a Canes fan. I interviewed with 3 people today. One of them's a Canes fan. One of them's a Sabres fan. And the other one just got into hockey, but he's always been into baseball and he's a Phillies fan. So 2-1, I'm probably fucked. So.
No, my God.
Yeah, man, that's basically all I got. Do we want to go through some comments?
Yeah, we'll do that. Holy God. Damn.
You got a lot of them.
You do.
I might have to leave before we get through all of them, but
yeah,
I don't think I can get through all these. Holy shit. I didn't realize we had 196 people watching.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Up.
Damn. Okay. All right. I might have to do selective comments on here. Very sorry about that, guys. I will do my best.
Yeah.
Will Parks, what's up, pal? They did it, buddy. Yes, they did. Took a long time, but they did. And I don't think they're done yet. I don't think this is the only time that we're going to see them here. I really don't. James, excuse me. What's up, pal? Thanks for all the analysis and content this year. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Really thought next year was the year. I did too. But man, they really showed us so proud of this team. Yeah, no, and this team didn't quit. Bull Moose, what's up, pal? Have no interest on off season. I want Florida. I do too. I'm foaming. I would enjoy beating Florida more than I would winning another cup. Inversely, I would enjoy beating Buffalo more than winning another cup. That's the rematch I want. I want to beat Buffalo again.
I was happy for Buffalo making the playoffs.
I wasn't. Fuck them. Kevin Adams did a good job.
They're blood enemies, Sam. You got to get with the program here.
Yeah, they're blood enemies. If we're America, they're England. There are one true enemy.
Were you a fan back then? Were you watching?
Yeah, he was.
In 06, you were, right? Yeah. I mean, that was.
I just became a fan in 06, so
did I. Was new. Okay, so you and me, that was our first year. That was our first year at it. That series, even then, I knew.
But I don't have lots of memories of that series because I was a kid. I was a kid, so
I was too. But like even that, and I didn't truly appreciate, like going on a Stanley Cup run at the time. I was 14, but even that series, even then, I knew. And they talked about it at the time that series was particularly vicious.
It was.
That was back in 06. It was particularly
the bad blood
vicious.
Has never completely subsided from that one either. Like, I can't count the number of times I ran into Sabres fans out in the world, and they just hated me for existing. Yeah, the banana slugs. They hated me for existing. I'm like, you know what? I'm all right with that. The feeling is mutual. Fuck you too. So it was like, but no, the one that interviewed me today, he was really cool. So like. The guy that likes the Phillies, though, he was not impressed with my baseball choices. Let's see what else we got here. 2 days later, I'm still watching celebration videos. I'm going to rewatch the game. And by the way, if y'all haven't seen it, Rachel Barkley did. She posted highlights of the game with
Queen of the Puck.
With John Forsland's calls on it. That's who,
I was watching this right before I want to finish it when we're done here. But
I thought about if I do video analysis because I've got that saved. She sent it to me. I'm going to post that one and do the stuff with the teleprompter with that video where I like break down the goals and it shows a couple of the saves in there and everything like that. But I'm definitely using that. John Forsland is by far the best that ever called a hockey game. So the only guy I like as much.
He ended it with the hey, what do you say?
He did.
He did.
He's a Canes fan at heart, man.
He is. He always is.
See, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he should have opened the checkbook for Gensel." I'm like, "No, Dundon should have opened the checkbook for John." Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I love Mike. Mike is great, and he's gotten a million times better since he started with. As far as I know, he didn't have any play-by-play experience. They just said, "Hey, you do this now," and he did his job. But John is not talented. He is gifted. Like God ordained him with the ability to call the hockey games. Yeah.
Him and Mike
Emmerich too, yeah. Gord Miller, I really like him. There's a lot of commentators I like. There's a lot of them that are great.
I've been watching celebration videos for the next 10 months.
Yeah, me too. I will be watching for months. Yeah. So let's go. TTC, what's up, pal? Let's go. Thank you, TWT, for all your hard work, giving us feedback on the team along the way. What a team will go down as my favorite of any sport of all time. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm going to take a couple of months off over the summer and recharge, but we will do something for the draft. We will do something for free agency.
And I'm still doing episodes over the summer.
Yeah, check out the Caniac Report in the meantime. A certain other podcast might be coming back. I will reveal details about that later if there's anything to reveal with it. That might be coming back. We don't know yet. I'm waiting on the person who would ultimately run that to let me know. Now over the summer, one thing that I probably will do if Matthew agrees to it, we'll do some watch parties exclusively on X to watch the Braves and the Mets when they play, and I think they play in July. I think they have a 4-game series in July.
That's
you'll win at least one.
No, they won't. No, they will not. They will not win a damn thing. And I don't care. Okay. Look, last year I had to console myself with Mets games throughout the summer.
And then Kodai Senga decided to get hurt from thin air again.
And then everything else. And I like this. I'm so glad we won. Now I can have all the Hurricanes playoff goals as my summer playlist. And I don't have to pay attention to baseball. Okay.
Oh, and another thing I'm planning on. Baseball. Another thing I'm planning on is and I just won't do them on YouTube because I don't want to mess up the algorithm. I think I'll do a couple of Panthers watch parties too, since now they're like relevant again.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they don't suck. They're not great, but they don't suck anymore at least. Matt Wilton, my good friend, congratulations, man. Love you, bro. I'm not saying that last part, but I love you too, pal. That's a friend of mine in real life. Him and I used to work together. got to update my PC wallpapers. One monitor with the cup photo and one with this on the second with the ECF photo. Yeah, the ECF photo I had prepared to use that for very nuclear meme material in the event the team was disappointing us. But luckily, I didn't have to go to the well on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna get prints. I'm gonna get several prints of many different players lifting the.
By the way, if you guys can grab me some newspapers, please, I'll pay you for them. Because I want to frame the newspapers because me and my dad have frames of when they won the first time.
Nice. I do too of the 06. I don't have any subscription, but but yeah.
Do you have to have a subscription for a newspaper now? You can't just pick one up for the quarter.
I guess you could. Know. Yeah, I don't know. I have never done that
because it wasn't front page news down here, so I'll have to get it from somewhere else. Hopefully they'll stop ignoring the South Carolina market because there's a hunger for it down here. There's actually a lot of Caps fans here because of the Stingrays. I can't escape Caps country no matter what I do. I guess I'll just have to run another insurgency.
There ain't any in the triangle here, man. Come on over.
No. Colby McLam, what's up, buddy? Congratulations to you, man. I appreciate all the content all year long. Thank you. I appreciate it. Here's to a great and what should be an interesting offseason. I don't think it's going to be very interesting. Like I said, they might go get someone like Bobby McMahon. I just, with the way Stankoven has played, I'm really reluctant to go get another center. I don't really see it as a need anymore. I mean, he's not a 2C. He's not. I'm not admitting that, but I'm just saying you might not need another one. He's since they won the cup, I'll say he's 2.37. That's as high as it's going for right now. I'll tell you what, we'll do 3.22.
And I do like Bobby McMahon, but the only thing, if they sign a free agent, it'll be because that free agent came to them and asked, "Can you make a statement, please?" Yeah. That's the only way that that'll actually happen. I don't think they are not going to look for somebody.
James says, how did we get so lucky to have such a stud coaching GM pairing? Yeah, and you know what? I took for granted a little bit what the team has there. And by the way, if you're ever walking around Lenovo, you will randomly run into Eric Tulsky, and he is the most personable guy that you can imagine. He is very cool. You would never guess that he's like a gifted genius, and that the guy is incredibly smart.
Very smart guy.
Yeah, and he proved it, and that makes a lot of people upset because he's not supposed to be able to do this in this business.
I know.
He didn't grow up in hockey. He's an engineer.
He engineered his way to a Stanley Cup.
Deadline. Mm-hmm. My gosh. Like, he didn't do anything at trade deadline, and that's paying dividends.
That's why he's the big bucks, and I'm an idiot.
I remember we were live that day, Sam, and we were both like disappointed, and it turned out being the right decision. So next time that they stand pat at the deadline, I'm just going to shut the fuck up personally.
Speaking of which, what do you think of that thing that showed up today that, the Rangers wanted Kochetkov for Trocheck or something else?
No, don't do it. Not worth it.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Why
would they need him? They've got.
I heard Florida wanted a first round pick for Bobrovsky.
I'm really glad they didn't pull the trigger on that.
Yeah.
Not worth it when they're so low on picks anyway.
I was disappointed, but at the same time, I got it though. It's not like the trade deadline of the last year of Ron Francis as Joe Mander, because I got angry.
Oh yeah, no, I was livid at that, especially at that press conference. So we're not in a position to do anything, and I'm like, dude, eventually you have to make an actual hockey trade at some point in your life. And then he goes to Seattle and does the same thing. He will not. Tulsky will test the market to the ends of the earth and maybe not pull the trigger. Francis didn't test the market enough at all to get a feel for it. Even it's like. The old meme is Carolina is in on everybody, and that is true. You just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should, and he really epitomized that with this year. It's kind of like what we talked about with Game 3. You had 3 possible outcomes after it became 4-0. It's you either lose badly, you come back and you lose a heartbreaker in overtime, or you come back and you win the game. That was Tulsky's moment of coming back and not winning that game. He lost the battle, but he won the war. So. Absolutely nothing wrong with what he did there. Mark, what's up, Al? Welcome to the show. I've been a fan of this team since they were the Hartford Whalers. This is one, whatever that is, that I will never abandon. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hexen, friend of mine in real life, the only team in North Carolina can bring home a trophy. Yeah, apparently. Yes. Yeah. I mean, LaMelo Ball did punch the mascot. That was pretty funny. that was hilarious.
I mean, they got big holes, but they're at least somewhat watchable. The Hornets, kind of maybe.
I think the Panthers are going to do better this year.
Yeah, they became watchable. That's nice.
BTS says, watching the Canes for half of my life coming together. Truly can't believe it. That was the best day of my life. Let's go Canes. It was definitely one of the best days of mine. Bossy, absolutely. Matthew Brown, what's up, pal? Saw your long Twitter post. Couldn't have said it better myself. Go Canes. I appreciate it, pal. I'd been wanting to say that stuff for a while because, like, honestly, like I don't say stuff like this often. People that took that post that I made back in December of 2024 and interpreted it as me wanting Brendan Moore fired, that actually kind of, I don't want to say it hurt my feelings because I have a reputation to maintain, but it kind of pissed me off that people interpreted it that way and they misinterpreted it. Some of them misinterpreted it on purpose. That's not what I was saying at all. And all the adjustments I wanted made got made, like literally, and then some. That's why they won. They scored more. And, you know, granted, part of that was on they had a better roster than they've ever had. But like that actually really upset me that people thought I wanted Brendan Moore fired. Brendan Moore was one of my first favorite players. Brendan Moore was the first forward that I liked, really, because all my favorite players other than him were defensemen, Sean Hill and Brett Haddocken. You know, it's like those were my types of players. Seeing the two-way game of Brendan Moore is what got me to like centers, and seeing what he did with Aho got me to like Aho because I wasn't sold on Aho the first couple of years. I really wasn't. But Brendan Moore made him find another gear, and that's why it was really cool for me personally to see the first thing that Aho did was turn around and hug Brendan Moore.
Yeah,
like that was like a real life moment of that was like the real life equivalent of in Top Gun Maverick where he tells Rooster thank you, where Maverick tells Rooster thank you for saving my life. That was like that, but in real life. That's what that was to me.
Bussy too, like I heard that Bussy said, you know, like thank you for believing in me, like that. Man, that's
after as hard as he worked to get where he is, and as long as he waited. Still, the fact he worked at a Chipotle, I'm a little I'm a little annoyed about that because I'm a most supremacist. I'm kind of like, okay, maybe you're not as cool as I thought you were. You may have won a cup, but you still worked at a substandard fast casual establishment, sir. That I have a problem with.
Yeah, job's a job. He was young. He needed the money.
Well, just because he worked there doesn't mean he ate it. But if he says it's better than most, I'm going to be like, all right, thank you for your service. Trade him. Get him out of here. Put him on waivers. I don't care. Send him to China.
I thought Anderson's interview was so emotional, man. Oh,
yeah, he's been through a lot lately, man. That's why I didn't like when people were shitting on him because I'm kind of like, yo, he's been through some bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, Friedman brought it up gently. He was like, can I ask? Because
Elliot Friedman is the classiest dude. He is so good at his job, too. He's another guy that needs to consider cutting the hair, though, because, my God, that bald spot is just bad. I saw that picture. I'm like, dude, come on. Please.
He talked about that, too. And he was like,
yeah, like
wife does not want me to do it.
He looks like the doctor from Back to the Future a little bit. It's the Libyans. It's the Libyans, Marty.
It looks like Doc Brown, yeah.
Doc Brown.
I mean, that gave me so much material this year. Hey, I've seen this one before. It's a classic. Dylan, what's up, pal? Did you see the guy who said the Vegas Golden Knights should exploit Tom Dundon's cheap contract history and make it run at Brendan Moore? Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Seriously.
You think that the Hurricanes fans dominated your building Sunday night? If you even think you can get away with that notion. Like, there will be commercial charter flights full of people in red and black sweaters showing up at your doorstep, organizing fiery but mostly peaceful protests very quickly. Don't even think about that.
He's learned.
He ain't going to let Rod go. That's not – Rod will either coach the Hurricanes or he will not coach. That's not happening.
Yeah. The job is his until he wants to stop.
The job is his until he is – old enough to put in a nursing home, and even then I'd still keep him on as a consultant.
Even then his abs have abs. And he could...
Yo, I'm so jealous of that guy. If I'd been worked out my whole life, I still wouldn't look like him. It's just, God, it's not fair.
It really isn't. It really isn't. His muscles have muscles, his abs have abs. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things I was happy about when he got hired as a coach. I'm like, you want to talk about someone who leads by example, and he's on the assault bike outdoing these 20-somethings?
Yeah.
Like, he's not just keeping up, like he is beating them. And they're 30 years younger than him. That is nuts.
He could play today. If he really wanted to, he could. He could take a shift.
He says that he can't, but I think
good.
it's like there were times where he jumped in on the line drills at practice. No other coach in the league can do that and keep up.
And look at how he played in the couple of alumni games that
he was going maybe 10% too. He was not even going hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rod's not going anywhere. And you talked about players taking steps. It's unbelievable to think where Jackson Blake was last year against Florida versus what he did all playoffs long. So excited to watch him going forward.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Jackson Blake is no longer on the deport for Robert Thomas list. Actually, no one is. That's I'm not worried about that anymore. Don't need him.
Yeah.
That was like my dream acquisition, and now I don't care.
Don't need him. And so this is the credit to the team. Florida took us to school. We learned. I said, you got to learn.
Taylor Hall took the most notes out of that series, if you ask me.
Yeah, he did.
And to to my interactions with opposing fan bases throughout this run, I told him, I was like, hey, we took you to school. You're smart, you'll learn. And I think Philadelphia probably will learn the most.
You know who I actually enjoyed interacting with the most as far as opposing fans during all this? The Ottawa ones. Like,
some of them are really like their locked on guys. I actually really
they're really good, and their prospect content is excellent. Yeah. I really like those guys. Like we actually like. I know we were chirping each other and stuff, but like we DM'd each other and stuff since then. Like they're really cool. I want to do a collab with them, especially about prospect stuff one day.
I would too. That'd be cool. That'd be fun.
Yeah, no, they're cool guys. But Ottawa fans in general, minus a select few of them, and y'all know which ones I'm talking about. Like the one that told me you probably can't even walk, and I'm like, are you sure about that? That might have been true.
And their various cadre of singers.
No, I like them. They did a good job. When you actually
keep going, that'll be fun. When you
actually get deported to China, literally got sent to China.
Yeah,
I am you're all right in my book. I mean, if someone said, here's a plane ticket, you're bad luck, go to China, I might say no. He was like, I'm going to China.
Like, he's like, you know what, fair.
He went to China. Dude, I've never been tagged so much in my life. Yo, Brandon, they actually sent this dude to China.
Yes. Well, how much were you tagged when Wayne Gretzky had to mention you?
Dude, between you and everyone else, my phone blew up because right after that game was over, I have to be careful when I say this word because he's sitting over there. I took my dog for a WALK. I came back in and I didn't take my phone with me. I didn't have my watch with me either. My phone and my watch were sitting on the table in the living room. And my phones got blown up and they're like, bro, one of your posts was on the broadcast. And I immediately was stricken with fear. I was like, oh my God, which one was it? Because I know some of the things I say. Immediately I was like, what? And I'm sitting there, I'm turning into the Anakin Skywalker meme. What have I done? Like, I was just like, I was terrified. And then I started looking, I'm like, okay, thank God it was one of my harmless ones. Because I know that there's times where I say stuff that pisses people off. I'm sorry, I can't help it. It's my personality at this point. I'm 35. I'm not going to change. But I was like, yo, this is pretty cool. Thank God they picked that one. Because there's some other ones that wouldn't have looked so great. But I was like, wow, Wayne Gretzky knows I exist. That's pretty cool.
That's
like
nice.
That's really cool.
And by 6 degrees of separation, I know I'm connected to him now.
Yeah, all y'all are. Yeah. Chevy, what's up, pal? 1 week, then it's back to work. I'm surprised Rod didn't walk out there and be like, all right. This cup thing, this is cool, but you got Billy.
Yeah, got Billy. Yeah. Get on the bike.
Get on the bike.
He's gonna let them enjoy it, man.
No, and he's enjoying it himself too, which is great to see. I wonder if he'll go back to that waterfall that he went to when he won it the first time. He's got that picture where he's standing there with it. I forget which one it was. Like, that would be cool if he recreated that. I mean, it's not that he looks any different.
Y'all gonna be there Saturday?
Unfortunately, I won't be. I have to work.
I'm gonna try to.
I'm coming. Maybe you should meet up, Sam. It'll be fun.
Yes, yeah, we should.
Blake has a bright future.
At the end of this, I'll give you my number.
Sounds good.
Montreal, Philly, Florida, and Tampa are teams I'm keeping my eye on because they're only going to get better. Throw Ottawa in there too. I think Ottawa is going to get significantly better. Ottawa is in the position now that the Hurricanes were in 2019.
Yes,
that team is going to be better. Like they've got. If they weren't so young and inexperienced, they would have been a much tougher matchup. That's a good hockey team there.
Honestly, Florida and Tampa, they're on the decline. Now, Florida's still good. Florida's still going to be really good, getting healthier, but they're still overall on the decline. Tampa Bay is definitely on the decline. Philly and Montreal, though, they're on the rise, as is Buffalo, unfortunately.
Yeah. Philadelphia is a much better team than people give them credit for.
I would argue Florida is more on the decline than Tampa if I put them on a scale.
Maybe.
I wouldn't be upset about that, but I still want them.
I do too.
Yeah, true vindication doesn't come until Carolina beats them. But there's people that I think they're a little bit too high on Florida.
Said they have no goaltending.
We need that reaction video. Yeah, we do. Bullnew says, I underrated Blake massively. Thought with him they never went to the Stanley Cup Finals, yet they win and Blake is the top scorer. Yeah.
Dude. I called it from his rookie season. I knew he was going to be great.
See, like, people are going to get mad when I say
I didn't know he was going to, like, 20 points and lead the team in scoring in the playoffs to a Stanley Cup final. Not quite, but I do know he's going to be great.
Blake's got a little bit of I'm going to piss people off when I say this, but I don't care. Blake's got a little bit of Datsuki into his game. Like, the way that he slows the game down and the hands that he has and how quickly he can sneak up on somebody and take a puck away from him. Because before I was describing him as Jeff Skinner if he could play defense. Now I think he's kind of beyond that at this point. But he very much impressed me this year, especially in the playoffs.
He does do the thing where, like, what Datsyuk could do, where it's like you're skating out and all of a sudden you look down and the puck's gone and Datsyuk's behind you dangling.
Yeah.
Like that he would do that.
Now, and he's doing it with his head up now, too, so he's not getting annihilated all the time. Because last season he kept getting blown up because he had his head down so much. He's not doing that now. Matty BNC says, my anxiety was at an all-time high in the final 10 minutes until Fly scored the empty net. Yeah, 7-minute syndrome hit me around that time. I don't know if I've told you guys about this, but I have this weird thing that, like, when a game's going on, I'm really calm, and then, like, my demeanor completely changes when I see 6:59 go across. It's like plenty of time until 6:59 comes across, and then I'm like, all right, here we go.
Crunch time. Yeah, for me, though, honestly, when Eichel missed, I knew it was meant to be. Like, I didn't say anything out loud because, you know, I'm a paranoid sports fan and it's a little superstitious because I can't get that completely out of me. But when Eichel missed, I was like, they're going to win. They're going to win. Yep. They're actually going to do it.
I would agree with you, Matt. When Eichel missed, I don't know if I was, like, exactly there where, like, Carolina was going to do it, but I was just like, we're in their heads now. Mm-hmm. We're just in their heads.
Because you know what? I've seen it in the other direction.
Exactly.
I've seen that game. I've seen what happens with us. Yeah, we've both seen that here. We both see that. We know what that means. Yeah.
Bull Moose also says mapped out entirely before the series because of Marner. They need to luck out with Fred G2 collapse in G3. Go with Bus starting G4 once power play is clicking. It's over exactly 1-6. Yeah, and you know, see, like at the beginning, I did too. It just didn't happen in the order I thought it would. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in the order I thought it would. I thought Carolina would win game 1, lose game 2, lose game 3, win game 4, and then take 5 and 6. I think was what I thought was going to happen.
I thought it was going to be 7. I was hoping Carolina was going to win it here.
But, you know,
they were 1 bounce away from winning it at home in 5.
Yeah. Not only that, but I decided when I analyzed it tactically and I came up with Canes in 6 as my honest, objective opinion, I was like, I got to be okay with this. I got to be okay with winning on the road because the only experience I have is a home win. And obviously, in the aggregate, you may say like it's better to win at home than on the road. But at the same time, though, with this one, maybe it's just because I appreciate it so much more. But I think winning on the road is pretty cool, especially with we had like a good 4,000 traveling fans.
Oh, it had to be more than that.
Yeah, maybe more. Yeah,
looking at the broadcast,
pretty freaking sweet.
Oh, and for all the
travel back home with the cut, I mean, I don't know. I like it. I don't have the experience one bit.
For all the grief that I've given Vegas fans in the past, I do have to admit, a lot of them stayed there to watch the Stanley Cup get awarded.
They did,
and they deserve their accolades for that. Because if the shoe was on the other foot and I was in the building, I'd stay to see it because you're not going to get to see that very often in your life. See the Stanley Cup get awarded, regardless of if it's the outcome you want or not. So I have to give them their accolades for that. They all stayed behind, saluted their team, and watched the cup be awarded. And I have nothing but respect for that. So for all the grief we give them, there are some legitimate Vegas fans out there that appreciate the game for what it is. So, and just so y'all know, I like going to road games more than I like going to home ones.
I've never been to. I want to. I've never been.
Road games I enjoy more. So I was talking about it the other day, and I was telling Desiree about it, and she goes, "Well, you know why you like that, right?" And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Because you're a disruptor. You like to aggravate people. You like to go in their own building and make them mad." And I'm like, "No, I don't." And even the Chihuahua looks at me like, I'm like, "All right,
Vance.
Yeah, you sure about that?" Yeah,
sure about that?
He gave me the look. He's like, "You sure about that? Are you sure about that?" Like he was just like, nah, bro, come on. Even I know that, and I'm a small dog with the brain the size of a walnut. And I was like, okay, you might have a point.
I get along with opposing fans though. Typically, if I ever see them, I usually ask about, like what.
You're a little more personable than I am. Both of you are.
I guess.
Yeah, I sat next to Montreal fans in the elimination game in Eastern Conference Finals. They were so nice. They were like, "Hey."
Every Montreal fan I've met in person has been really cool. Every Montreal fan I've met in person has been really cool.
That's good because the ones online, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't really count them. But the one. See, what was really funny? Speaking of road fans, when I went to opening night back in 23-24, there was, I think, one Ottawa fan in that whole building, and he was who I ended up sitting next to, and he was really cool.
That's
like,
good.
No, I run into a lot of really cool fans. Like, I run into more cool ones than I do bad ones. It's like, hockey as a whole is a really good community. Now, I feel like if I went to a New Orleans Saints game or if I went to a Phillies game, I would probably die at those games, but I would go down swinging. I'll just be perfectly honest with you.
I was treated well at SunTrust Park when I went there. I went there once, and there was, of course, it's New York, so obviously all New York teams, they fill other people's stadiums. But yeah, I was treated well there, so that was nice.
I went to a Yankees game and fell asleep during the game.
Yeah. And hey, the Braves hit a grand slam and crushed the Mets 8-2, and the only time I saw him. So good for you.
I can't do baseball, man. I just can't. It's just too slow for me.
Yeah, see, that was the first sport I ever watched was baseball. So that Vegas defense ain't winning a cup without Pietrangelo and White Cloud. Yeah, that's what I was telling people when the series started. I'm like, this is not the Vegas defense.
That was a downgrade. They traded Rasmussen for White Cloud and got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blake and Stankoven together for 8+ more years is just filthy. For less than $10 million, or for what is it? A little over $10 million.
I can look it up real quick.
11. 6 for Stank and just over 5 for Blake.
5.1 million.
Yeah, 5.1.
So 11.1 million for the best line in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Mikko Rantanen? TTC says really don't know what GMET will target with our cap space after Nikishin assigned right defense or goalie. I mean,
he doesn't need to use it though. That's what's great. He doesn't need.
Yeah, but you can't. I wouldn't leave it sitting there if you don't have to.
Keep the powder dry because, McDavid is coming.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think Nikishin's going to get a 2-year deal.
He'll probably. Yeah, I think he'll get a bridge. I would prefer it not be that. I would rather them just go ahead and get him locked up long term because there's a good player there. He's got to pick up some foot speed. He's got to improve his skating a little bit. But
his skating, man, it got victimized. I thought in this finals. Now it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It's just you could see his foot speed was.
Part of what will help him is when they get him a defensively minded partner, so that someone to clean up those mistakes for him.
He did the one thing that he had never done really earlier before in this year in Game 6, which is he chased a hit.
He did.
Yeah, he did that one time, and he hit him hard. He put him in. He
made it count.
Bench. He made it count. But he gave up that 2-on-1 and nearly got scored on. That's you can't do that anymore, Nicky, buddy.
No,
he can't
skating.
do that. He did that's the first time all year I saw him do that. I saw him chase a hit.
Stankoven is Marchand version 2. The Dogs since Dallas versus Vegas and Colorado in 2024. I agree with that. Their skating is even similar. it's like the mechanics of how they move their feet actually has some pretty striking
Right-handed
similarities.
Marchand, except he's center, so like he could be even better. Like,
Yeah.
Think of that.
How do you guys think Jarvis is going to be at the parade? Probably intoxicated.
Yeah, he'll be it'll be in the morning. He'll be hitting the sauce.
Yeah, it's like he's probably got an IV going into his arm right now when it's just filled with whatever he's drinking.
He'd be the only Canes player singing Wagon Wheel, probably.
Yeah, well, everyone else is like, how many more times we're going to sing that song?
They all sang it. They hey.
I know we've talked to some of the group chat going into July 1st. You guys foresee any specific moves that they might make? Not really, but like I said, Bobby McMahon's the only one I really see as being realistic, and even then, it's like you've got nowhere to put him. So I wouldn't be surprised if they trade for a goalie if Freddie says, all right, that's it, which I'm expecting to happen.
I think he could retire, yeah. If he doesn't, if he decides he wants to go to market, because I mean, like I said, I mentioned in chat, I'd offer Freddie like one more year for $2 million, and that's honestly though that's not really like out of tactical like roster building. That's really kind of just out of loyalty.
Yeah, well, I mean that, and it's like they carried 3 goalies this year, and it turned out fine.
It turned out fine, so yeah, I'd make him an offer. I would make him an offer, but if he decides he wants to go to market, Edmonton would probably give him like $5 million.
Oh,
they would.
Well,
They're that desperate.
He'd be in demand because goalies are just in demand.
They're always in demand. So, yeah, he would. Yep. I mean, that's why Carolina kept running it back with the tandem that they, there wasn't really a way to upgrade it. That's why they kept going with this tandem for so long. It was like, it wasn't ideal. It worked out this year, but it's like on paper.
A waiver claim won us the cup, man.
Yeah, that's what's amazing. The waiver claim got us the first seed in the East and
won us the cup. Yep.
Just imagine the what if scenario.
So fucking good.
Imagine the what if scenario of Florida kept Bussy though.
The Fluffy talks about that a lot. He said he's actually said that they're supplying the rest of the league with goalies because Knight went to Chicago.
Yep.
And Drieger, went out. They supply the rest of the league with quality goaltending. It's like,
thank you, Florida. And thank you, Toronto, for Jarvis.
Lane Hudson to China as well. Lane Hudson to Venezuela. Both of those are horrible places. Hall and Blake are both pests. Yes, they are. Yes. Smythe should be Stahl, Buss, Ehlers, Stank. Well, see, Bussy didn't play enough because the Conn Smythe is for the entirety of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean.
But I thought he was the best player in Game 6.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Yeah, he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah, him and Slavin.
Yeah, Slavin had the game of his life, and that's saying something, like I said before. Agreed. Good problem to have that you don't have to upgrade next season. I agree. Yeah. Need a right shot defenseman for sure. See, I'm not entirely sold on that.
We have two NHL right shot defensemen right now that are playing in the Calder Cup final.
Yeah. Need to bring in Austin or McDavid or Larkin, not McMahon. I mean, that would be cool, but I just don't know if it's practical or realistic to do something like that. That's the only problem.
Why sell the farm for this? There's no need for that.
Yeah.
Now, if Larkin says, I'll only accept to Carolina and get me out of here now. And frankly, like if I'm Yzerman, I'm like, you're reporting to camp.
Well, see, I'm a Larkin guy. I like Larkin a lot.
He did ask for a bigger list.
Yeah, like I like Larkin. Larkin's actually one of my favorite non-Hurricanes. I can't fathom the thought of giving up any roster player to get him, though. That's the thing, because they would want someone like Stankoven back, and I'm not doing that.
And I don't want to sell the farm for him. I mean, I like Larkin too, American hero.
He's too injury prone too. That's the other thing. It's like, Carolina stayed healthy this season, and that was one of the biggest reasons why they won. So I don't really want to risk that with a guy who's injury prone. It's like, caught lightning in a bottle this year. William Carrier played how many games in the regular season and all of the playoffs? I never thought I would see that happen.
He did miss by 2 weeks, like 2 weeks of the regular season, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't miss much because normally he misses half the season.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like with Larkin or Matthew, like someone we'd have to like shell out a ton of assets for.
Yeah.
There's just no point to that.
Wizard says puck mover played with Slavin. Also saw that today's Nyes might be available if empty the cupboards to park that a kid would Stank and Blake for the next half decade. I like Nyes.
Why? I just
I don't want to do much for this team.
There's no need.
It really isn't.
As much as it's fun to talk about trades and upgrades, and we were definitely talking about earlier this year with what this team just did. It's freaking 16-3.
Yeah,
16-3, the best record since the '88 Oilers.
And they won 4 cups.
And they were busted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't fix what's been broken. I think that's the biggest thing we
no need.
Look at trade.
There's no need.
Don't try to fix what's not broken.
Only upgrade I'd look at would be if we wanted to beef up center a little bit more, maybe look at a 1A goalie, but I think we're okay until 20. Yeah, maybe. I don't want to do anything to this team. Like, if the season starts out and it's not going well, then you can revisit that. But I'm expecting the same team at camp that we saw this year.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess if you really want to, we could send Jake to China and sign Jenner. If you really want to. But the team is not going to do that. The team is not going to, like, is the bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Well, and see, the thing is, it's like that Jankowski signing looked a lot better when you saw how much money Charlie Coyle got. I'm not paying that. That's no.
Yeah. Like,
realistically, they need
something like that, though.
They would. Yeah, they would.
They would.
They probably
realistically, they need to replace Chatfield in a better E-Rob against Peak Florida. I mean, I would hate to move on from Chatfield because I like him so much, but like,
he had a lot of great moments here.
He did.
Like, put it this way: Vegas plays Florida, assuming healthy Florida this year. Vegas plays them. You think Florida wins? You think Florida beats Vegas? I'm not sure they do.
I'm not convinced.
That's a good point.
We'll never know, but
or not.
All right, let's see what else we got here. I feel KK and Anderson are both gone. Yeah, KK's got to go. That's best for everybody involved.
If they care about the player, then he's gone.
He needs to go. You know, it's like he will have some sort of value in the offseason because
he will.
He's a center. He's big. He can play physical. He's not as bad as people say he is. He just ended up not fitting with Carolina. It was kind of the same thing with Natchez. Natchez is an incredible player. He's the most talented player that the Hurricanes ever drafted. That doesn't mean he fits though. So it's like, and I was the Natchez at center, champion, and that ended up not being a good idea.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, because they tried that in Colorado. That experiment lasted less than a period. Yep. Because when they showed they were putting him at center that night, I'm like, oh boy. Oh, I was ready to eat. I was about to go to the buffet on everybody, and I was like, you know what? Let me just shut the fuck up because I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. So,
but Stanley Cup champion, Jesperi Kotkaniemi, will find a home somewhere else, and I think he might get bought out. I mean, it's because I don't think they can trade him. He's a negative asset. They'd have to attach a pick to him to get rid of him.
And they can't afford to give up.
They can't afford,
right now.
and they're not.
It would have to be a pick from this year. A high one, and they don't.
If they can't trade him for future considerations, then they buy him out.
A realistic player that I think Canes could get, and it'd be just a depth move, maybe probably fourth liner, especially with the news that I heard about him lately, because I think he's going to free agency. Jack Drury.
Is he really going back to free? He's going to market.
I think he is. Let me check. I just want to be sure.
I like him better than Jank, but we got Jank.
Well, Brindamore liked him. We have to.
He's an RFA. He's going to be an RFA.
Oh,
I think Colorado will sign him. They'll find a way to make it work. Yeah, and he's a good fit there. Yeah. He gets the minutes he deserved in Carolina. He gets in Colorado because Jack's a good player. It's just he can't play anything more than a bottom six center role, and Carolina had the Justice League of bottom six centers. So
he's that type of player I could see Carolina getting, whether it's Drury or not.
What I could see happening they could bring him back in a couple of years. If they hadn't signed Jankowski, I would say, yeah, bring him back. But
now, here's a question because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's got one more year left on his contract. But I think we've talked about this also before, is that it's a matter of when, not if, Teuvo Teravainen returns.
I can see that happening at the deadline next year, and that would be something that I predicted 3 years ago.
Of the players that have left, I mean, there's no need, but of the players that have left this team since Rod Brindamore took over, it's Pesce and it's Teravainen that I really, really, and frankly Tony DeAngelo also, that I
that's
really
an RD I wouldn't mind bringing back to put back.
That I really wanted to get a cup, and that it's a shame we couldn't do it.
See, and the other thing
I don't think we bring back Teravainen though.
If somebody's hurt, I could see them going and getting Teravainen back. Yeah. That's the one way I could really see that happening. Like, especially if it's Jarvis or Svechnikov, Rob will go get Teravainen back.
Aho might ask for it.
Yeah, and because like that's the other thing. It's Aho might ask for it. So it's like, and for all the grief Aho got, and one day, Matthew, we're gonna have Katie on here to talk about it because she's the one who brought this up initially. Aho's the closest thing you have to a legitimate Jordan Stahl replacement. Yeah, he's a different player in a lot of ways, but like what Jordan Stahl did now is something Aho can do when he's 38. So I could see that happening. Absolutely.
Yep.
So
and with Jordan Stahl as a coach,
that would be something. That would be amazing.
Watch it happen.
Or you know what? Actually, let's just have Mark, Eric,
it's revolving doors.
No, not even revolving doors. Have Mark coach the defense, and have Jordan and Eric either be head coach or coach the forwards.
Wasn't Eric on the Slavers organization?
He was, but I would hope his loyalties lie a little bit more with Carolina in that case. But I Jordan Stahl, if he wanted to be a coach, he'd be really damn good at it. If you ask me, he would be excellent at it.
Yeah, just as the captain becomes the coach. Let's just make that a thing.
Apparently, it's a thing. Yeah, I mean, it's worked out so far for Carolina this far. So it's like Vegas let Torts go real quick, didn't they? I think that was the plan, though. I think he was. Yeah, he's got a farm.
It makes you wonder how much of a decision it had with the goaltending choice.
I'm really surprised Aiden Hill didn't go in for Game 6. I was expecting that.
I'm not.
Or not surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised if he had done it, I should say.
Well, yeah, I mean, Torts also, he had heart in Philly, so he really
liked him there.
Yeah, he did.
If McDavid came available for the trade this summer, who would you send the other way? I don't even want to think about that.
I don't want to trade for him. I want to sign him as a free agent.
Yeah, I'd rather just do that because if he'll take a $12 million 2-year deal in Edmonton, Carolina could probably get him for 15, 16-ish. He's worth way more than that, but he wants to win, henceforth why he took a $12 million 2-year deal, even though he's worth significantly more than that in term and cap hit both. I'd rather just wait on that. But yeah, I'm sure they will try to get him. I just wonder when they will try to get him. That's the only thing. And we also have to consider how old's McDavid now?
He's 20. He's Aho's age. Yeah, he's Aho's age, 29.
All right. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like I don't want to have too many guys in that age bracket. The team did a good job getting younger over the last couple of years. It is McDavid, but that's shakier ground than people realize. It's like the juice has to be worth the squeeze. That's all I'm saying. And it's not unconditionally worth the squeeze, even if he is the best player in the world, because this team just want to cut by committee.
We can make a pitch to him that I don't think anyone else can.
But
yeah,
because like with the recent champions, like Florida's on the decline, and Tampa Bay's on the decline. We're still on the rise.
My biggest thing with us getting McDavid though is like, I mean, we tried to get Ranston, that didn't work out. So this team is more focused on fits than they are of star talent.
True. But that's why I would say it would have to be a mutual thing where, where McDavid has to agree, like, yes, this is the place where I think I can win. The place that I actually think that McDavid could work here, just stylistically fit wise, because he does back check. It's not like he's not scared of doing it.
He does not get enough credit for his two-way game.
He plays a two-way game. Now he kills penalty. Like the Edmonton's penalty kill isn't great, and he's not the best at it, but he's willing to. And
he wouldn't have to here, though.
You can be an offensive player. You just have to give a damn.
Yeah.
You just have to give a damn.
Well, I mean, at one point in time, Nate just was killing penalties with Carolina. Until when Jarvis started taking over that. Kotkaniemi at one point was killing penalties with Carolina. It's just he can't skate well enough to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in order to play in Rod's system, you just have to give a damn about getting back and back checking. That's all it's not voodoo. It's not rocket science. It's not, this insane. It's not like Tortorella where he will try to turn a player into something they're not. We're not asking you to be something you're not. We're just saying that you just gotta, commit to playing the system and giving a damn defensively.
Yeah. Well, that's it. The other thing is, it's like McDavid was gassed when the night he won the Conn Smythe when they lost to Florida the first time. He was absolutely gassed because he was out there for nearly the entire period. One of my theories why he didn't come out and accept the trophy is I wouldn't be surprised if they stuck an IV in him.
Yeah.
That's my theory about it. He wouldn't have to worry about that in Carolina because you've got Aho, you've got Stankoven. It's like you wouldn't have to have him out playing those heavy minutes. So the minutes that he is out there, he would potentially be a more effective player.
We're still rolling 4 lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't stop.
And he's got a team mentality. Like, he doesn't think that the world revolves around him. So, like, you can tell that by the fact that he took a deal that was $8 million less than, or I'll say more like $6 million less than what he could have demanded.
Than what
Sure.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would put I think it's by decent. I said it today. I said we have a decent chance of landing him. By decent, I mean around 10%.
Yeah, which is a little bit more than a lot of other teams, but it's not the best.
It's still, you take the 90, you take us not getting him over getting him if you're betting on it, but 10% I think is not so bad. I think there is definitely a world where this happens.
Yeah.
Like we said, those guys might come to us. It would be electric. It would be. The team I want eliminated is the Rangers. Oh, they're going to eliminate themselves for the next several years. They are not good.
They're in the wilderness for a good long while. They can't.
Carolina convinced them that Scott Morrow was the next Bobby Orr. I'm not worried about it. Scott Morrow wildly disappointed me, but man, he's really disappointing them.
Well, they can't develop defensemen. Look at
they can't develop
anyone. Yeah, they can't develop anyone except occasionally goaltending.
Yeah, goaltending. Yeah, they always get good goaltending. Apparently,
yeah, they've always been good at drafting. I mean, Montreal is too, but like Igor Shesterkin is just God-given talent though when it comes to goaltending.
Right, and they're in trouble actually as an organization, not just beyond that, because they're never going to be quite that bad, because Shesterkin will keep them from bottoming out. They're never going to get
draft as high.
They got a top 5 player. They're not going to get the number 1 overall. They're like, unless they get lucky and win the lottery but they'll finish probably 8th through 10th worst in the league for the next 5 years.
Kind of sounds like a team that we know.
Mm-hmm. They're in purgatory.
Yeah,
they're in purgatory for a good long while.
I'll never believe anything other than the fact that
Lafreniere, he hasn't done good. I mean,
as long as Chris Drury is their GM, they're going to be in purgatory.
Yeah, I'm convinced. I do agree with that. Now, with it being New York, I do think there are going to be players wanting to go there, but it's just other than that, their goaltending, I don't see New York. Here's the thing: I think on paper, New York is better than how they're playing, but.
Yeah. They're getting old too.
Yeah, they are getting old.
Zibanejad, Trocheck, all those guys are getting a little bit up there.
That JT Miller trade, I thought was.
I really think that was fueled more by Vancouver just wanting to get him out of there.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely believe this team could beat the 24-25 Panthers and 23-24 Rangers. They would have given them a run for their money at a minimum.
Panthers, that actually would have been quite a battle. The 25, the last year's Panthers team was really good. Even if we had a healthy Chatfield and Walker, I think we pushed that to 6. But that's probably
especially when Aho started that game with 2 goals.
We'd have won that game. We'd have won Game 5 against the Panthers. But I still don't think we beat now with Ehlers and Miller, and it's close. That would be actually a battle. That would be an absolute war. 23 Rangers, we crush them. We crushed them.
Oh yeah. See that was more bad roster management that did that one in, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But Rod's learned all of his lessons, it looks like. So that's why it's like I would hate to see him walk away now, because he's really entering his prime as a coach. And he's got the team that he needs.
It's funny because in that Rangers series, I thought the best player for them was Miller.
Oh yeah, no, he was aggravating.
He was incredible. He was maddening. He broke up so much. Like he was maddening in that series.
And see, the thing is, it's like that's with him at distance trying to replicate Slavin's game, and now Slavin is teaching him Slavin's game. You can see the changes in his game since Slavin's been around.
At various point in times in this run, Miller was better.
Yeah. See, it's. I've always thought about this. Like the closest thing you have to replace a player like Jacob Slavin down the line is someone like Keandre Miller, and he's got the offense too. So defensemen like Slavin are not going to come around much.
Good. God.
His skating is incredible. He's one of the best skaters on the team. Out of all the defensemen, I think he's probably the best skating one, other than Walker.
Yeah.
Well, Chatfield's a really good skater too. I don't think he's shown it as much this season as he has in previous seasons.
He played through something though. I'm convinced of that because the speed that Chatfield normally has, where he wins puck races or wins foot races all the time to get to loose pucks first, he didn't do that as much, and I think it's because he's been hurt. Because if you think about it, there's not as much mileage on Chatfield since it took him a little while to get into the league. So. And playing in the AHL, that was easy for him. I don't mean literally easy, but it's not as hard as playing at the NHL level.
Mm.
Could imagine how Jordan Stahl feels after so many years of absolute nonsense in this organization. God, that was nice to see.
That we got him the cup.
And he got to have the Conn Smythe at the same time. It's like when Gary Bettman gave him the Conn Smythe. I'm like, just have him stay up there, bro. Like,
and obviously, like the team loves it for him more than he loves it for himself. So he just got it, and he was like, he took his picture and then kind of just put it right on the bench. And it was like, he's like, thanks, you have it.
And
that's cute and all.
I also love too the fact that his brothers came down and they're like,
that was pretty cool. His mom and dad came down there too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was really cool. Let's see what else we got here. Proud of the Canes for coming through. So happy for you fans and the team. You guys 100% deserve it, especially after the struggle you had to get here. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. I teared up seeing Aho hug Rod before he left the bench. That was the most emotional moment of all of it for me because, like, Aho is the player he is because of Rod. If it wasn't for Rod, Aho would have been a 70-point winger at best. Rod turned him into a player that nobody on earth thought he was going to be what he is. Like, I got really pissed off that so many people were so down on Aho. Like, I understand he had kind of a substandard playoff compared to what he's capable of, but at the same time,
he was great.
Defensively, he was great. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. I'm like, yo, the game is twofold. Like, defensively, he was. Here's what I find really funny about it.
What's our penalty killing percentage?
I think with him on the ice, it was like 88%, and it was 91 with Jordan Stahl. And that's with 5-on-3 time in 2 of the 4 series. So it's like, and he was a big part of that. And if you're talking about somebody who's going to generate a shorthanded chance, it's him and Jarvis. And Jarvis out there playing with one arm. So,
although I think what's funny, I believe the only shorthanded goal in the whole playoff series was
Chatfield's.
Chatfield, Jordan Stahl on the ice.
Oddly enough. And see, the funny thing about it is Aho was 1 second away from having a shorthanded goal.
Yeah, it's effectively a shorthanded goal.
Officially, that goal was scored at 5-on-5, but like the penalty had just expired. Like
just
that
like
was
Jackson
essentially
Lake
a
in Game
shorthanded
4,
goal.
that's effectively a power play goal too. So
because it goes on until the next whistle.
Have 7 power play goals really.
That's something I wish they'd start tracking statistically is like goals on expired penalties until the next whistle. I would like to see how that shakes out if they ever track that. I think that would be cool. It is, but that's something I would personally love to if I had, other people to help me with it. But can't imagine how much emotions during that game. If my team ever gets to the point, I fear I will be in the hospital. Ottawa's going to get better, so a few years from now, you might be at that point. That's a good hockey team there.
Kyle, another person I was happy about because he's been with this team forever. He's not a player, but I was very happy to see Trip Tracy.
He wanted that more than anybody. He's the original Caniac.
He is.
Yeah, and another one that I'm so happy will have his name engraved on Lord Stanley's Cup forever now is Timmy Gleason.
Yeah,
because he never gets it as a player, and despite it, because he was really good. He was really good. He was a really quality defenseman, and finally he gets it.
And as far as I know, he's the only Hurricane that's fought somebody at training camp.
Really, I forgot about that.
Who was that again?
Some nobody, I think it was, that he fought at training camp one time. He had to put the kid in his place.
That's funny.
I don't remember who it was he fought. If one of y'all want to try and look it up,
I'm looking this up here.
2-time, good God, champions. Yes, Rod putting his hand over his face as time ran out got me. And you know what? It's like the funny thing about it is you see him start to shed tears, and he tries to change his demeanor, and he just couldn't.
And Ehlers, after he scores the empty netter, turns into the boards and sees his family for the first time.
Yeah,
Like that.
that was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Just
It
storybook
was
moments
Jared
throughout that.
Stahl Tim Gleason fought against.
Really?
Yeah,
Jared Stahl.
Jared Stahl.
That's funny.
Back in
Okay,
2013.
Sorry for saying that he was a
That's
nobody,
really
but
funny.
damn, it was when 2013.
Jared Stahl.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was in 2013, right?
Yes.
So Eric was still around.
Yes.
So he saw this happen.
Jordan came in 2012.
That's right. They were both here already.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. Do you guys know what actually just happened with Freddie? Like, he wasn't on the bench. Makes me super confused.
It was
knee.
his knee. Now, I suspect actually it probably occurred during that scramble where Vegas scored, but it was
second disallowed goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, where Vegas in game 2, because they said it happened in game 2. So I think it happened in the Vegas disallowed goal in that game, because that was scramble. He reaches out, stops at Barbashev, and then Stahl falls on top of him. I think that's probably where it happened.
Out of all the people on earth to have fall on top of you, Jordan Stahl is one of the worst ones to have.
Yeah, that couldn't have felt good.
Yeah.
No, that's a big dude.
Yeah. So that's probably where he tweaked something in his leg. And
yeah.
He said he had a knee injury. Yeah, it twisted in a funny way. Caleb, what's up, pal? Supposedly Vegas and Anderson have a handshake agreement for 7 by 8.5. All right, good luck with that. Go right ahead. Be my guest. Game 3, when Carolina came back, even though they lost, I think it broke Vegas a little bit that they couldn't just bury us. Yeah. I think that game ultimately did more harm to Vegas than it did to Carolina. I know that game ultimately did more harm to Vegas than it did to Carolina.
Like you said, lost the battle, but that was the turning point of the war.
Yeah, that was if that was the Pacific, that was midway for Carolina. It really was.
Well, what was it was a tactical loss, but a strategic victory.
A Pyrrhic victory or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Gosh, I think Vegas is an idiot doing.
Well, it's more like what was that? No, not Lexington and Concord, but it was at Bunker Hill.
Yeah,
where they only had to leave the field because they ran out of ammunition. That's kind of
and then the British said they won. You didn't win anything except the ammo Olympics, and you still lost the war.
Yep.
Set on checklist, Rasmus Anderson, VGK had a handshake agreement on a contract for 8.5. If they want to pay him that after he played the way he played be my guest. Go ahead. Yes. They'll ship him out of there the first chance they get when he plays that bad.
Buy him out of that. Golly, that's.
Contract is not a minor's contract. It's
one way.
Yeah. So something's going to happen there.
I think he's just going to be a depth defenseman for this season, because don't do anything to the defense unless you're adding.
No need.
Speaking of the defense, I'd still say bring Mike Riley back, because he's a good seventh guy.
No need. You got Nystrom and Legault.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if Slavin's going to have surgery, though.
Well, yeah, we'll have Nystrom and Legault. That's still 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I like how he played this year. And plus,
Delorier, I think we were saying.
Delorier's coming back.
Him I want back.
Delorier's coming back.
We'll pay him a league minimum to be a cheerleader.
Yeah.
Basically.
Just during warm-up, he can just skate up and down center ice, mogging everybody.
He could just be the life of the party in the locker room. We'll pay him, $775K for that. That's fine.
It's so funny because with these celebrations, like Delorier, he only played the one game, and yet he's like out there for every celebration, just kind of harping it all on.
Guys like him don't get a chance to win it often, though. So I mean,
I'm
just taking it all in and having fun.
It's funny you mentioned that game, Kyle. That was the first hockey game I ever watched.
Oof.
Was that 2002 a triple OT?
Yeah, I was forced to go to bed and they scored right after that.
Now I watched it because I was at my uncle's house. We were like on a mini vacation there. We were staying over at my uncle's house, and I had a bunch of cousins. And he put the game on for whatever reason. I was like 10 years old. Wasn't interested in hockey at all. But they put it on, and it kept going and going and going and going. And I was just having fun with my cousins at the time, just a little 10-year-old kid. And then when they ended, I was like, oh, because I was like, oh, Hurricane, they're us, right? That's all I do. But that was the first actual game of hockey that I ever watched. Pretty cool, huh?
Freddie had a knee injury, can't play through that as a goal. It's hard to play through that in general. That's a really hard thing to play through. Stahl fell down by watching a replay and recovered by the D-man there at the net. I don't think Stahl scores if he doesn't fall down. No, that's what gave him the reach to get that puck to where it went. Like he was just trying to get it on net, and it stargated through Carter Hart's glove. Like that was
one of the best goals.
That was divine intervention.
History.
It was
like that was one
literally
of the best
divine
goals
intervention.
in history.
Yeah,
like Jarvis's power play goal. Obviously, that also saved the season in Game 2.
it did.
But that one right there, that just the improbability and the fact that it was Stahl again, and how Jarvis didn't give up on the play after being stopped by Hart, and Ehlers making that pass. The pass actually got deflected. It wasn't as much as he would have liked. It would not the pace that happened. It got slowed up a bit, but then Stahl twists himself around. It's just
I know that's
the goal of the organization right there. The best goal the organization's ever scored.
Jay Stu, absolutely. Been there, stand up while I'm drunk. Again, I don't drink much nowadays, so like it hits me pretty hard. Like I've laid off all that stuff. I don't eat fast food anymore.
When you stand up, when you're sitting down, you don't notice.
Yeah, when they announced one in the period, and I stood up,
stand,
I
was like, ooh,
yeah.
That happened to me at Game 2. I had a few at the tavern.
So happy for you guys. C-Test striker looks like Neanderthal. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Striker, I'm guessing that's a soccer related thing because that's a position in soccer. We did it. What a season. What an amazing season. Absolutely. Every one of Blake's goals were incredible. Stretch line 1. That was amazing.
Blake was the leading point scorer.
Leading point scorer. Yep.
Yeah.
Just
how he missed that wide open net in Game 6, I'll never know. Every one of Blake's goals were incredible. Yes, very much. Par for Portnoy when we were talking about him.
I'm glad you met him. I'd like to meet that guy too, not Dave. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, he's really cool, dude. He's awesome.
Get him on here.
Barstool was hot garbage. Yeah. No, I actually, so he was actually going to come onto the mega stream we had before the playoffs, and he couldn't make it because he said he wanted to start doing more hockey content.
Yeah, by the way, do you want to do Thursday or how's that?
Yeah, Thursday I'm gonna line up and see. Of course, both of you guys are invited. I'm gonna line up and I'm gonna try and get Katie and Tom Ray, and I'm gonna hit up Carter and Jack over at the Crazy Axe. But yeah, I'm gonna try and get everybody in here and get some time slots and everything like that, and figure out who's gonna be on when. But you guys are obviously, you're welcome to be here as long as you want. It's just as long as we don't have more than 4 people at once, it gets a little hard to manage at that point. I'll probably hit up Rachel and see if she wants to come on too. So it just kind of depends. I think the underrated part of the series is Walker matched up with the Marner line in Vegas, and every chance he got, he was running ethically into Marner, and Marner couldn't stand up and turtled it.
Like plastered open ice textbook, just
beautiful hit. It couldn't have been any cleaner.
Yeah.
More views from the independent creators. Yeah, that would be. That's the way everything's going now. It's like here I am in a man cave with just a bunch of stuff on the wall, and I feel like that, especially thanks to the people I brought on, I do a little bit better of a job than some of those guys because they're very
intentionally cropped out of the webcam here all the garbage and mess that is in this room.
Yeah, no,
you were never going to see it.
And one of the changes I made. Check this out. Normally the F14 is over here, and the F18 is right here. When they lost.
Yeah, you see, that's why you don't move the camera. That's why you don't move it, because things get messed up.
I moved the F18. I switched positions with the F18 and the F14 after Game 1 against Montreal. I think it was. And I was like, all right, let's see if this works. And now everything's all messed up, and I don't care.
Yeah. And your camera's out of focus now, by the way.
Oh, I know. There's nothing I can do about it until it decides it wants to. Hold on. It's fine. I'm not anything to look at anyway. Just popping in to say, let's freaking go. Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. You have a good night, fellas. You too, buddy. 2 times.
Here's some interesting news that came out per Chris Johnson on the Hurricanes. They could have had Jason Robertson from Dallas when facilitating that trade.
They chose Stankoven. Yes, I heard that.
Yeah.
They chose Stankoven. They could have had him. They probably could have had Wyatt Johnston, that's who I wanted.
Yes, I wanted Johnson too.
But they chose Stank.
It worked out.
It
did work out. It did.
Good. They know better than me. As much as armchair GM that I like to play, Tulsky said, he loves getting the advice from 18,000 assistant general managers. As much as I like to,
I can't disagree
think
with
that I'm good at that role.
Yeah.
I bow to the superior.
Yeah, he is.
Miller pickup was massive. Yes, it was. E-Rob can slot in the top 9, but he's a fourth liner on a cup team.
Yes,
Yeah,
you're right. Yes.
I agree. Absolutely. He's a damn good fourth liner, but that is what he is on a cup team. The fact that Carolina could have gotten it done even in 24-25 if they faced Toronto in the ECFS while Oilers didn't have the fire they did in 2024. And that damn near happened.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were sitting
Toronto
here
doesn't
watching
shit
it.
the bed in game 7. Or actually it was game 3. If they don't shit the bed in game 3. Ugh.
Nashville is regretting a lot from that offseason, to be fair. Yeah, and they were the winners of that offseason.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about the Miller acquisition? The one thing I'd like to know was Miller the second choice since they tried?
Yeah, Bouchard was the first choice.
Bouchard. Mm-hmm.
That ultimately worked out better than getting Miller because Miller can replace Slavin down the line. Bouchard cannot do that, but the purpose of Bouchard was you play with Slavin and you shoot the puck every chance you get. That was because he's, as far as defenseman, he has the best shot in the league. Like that's not even close.
Yeah.
Nashville has Colton, so they're good again. Yeah, we didn't even talk about the trades that happened today.
Yeah.
Nick rocks all 3 of you.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't like the trade Toronto made.
I don't think that's going to be the last move they make. That's making room for something else, I think.
Yeah, I don't hate. I mean, Wall is better than Ersson, but Wall's also struggles to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And I like Melandre.
I don't think Rantanen was interested in playing Rod's style of hockey. According to that TV show, he wasn't.
Apparently, according to Adam Gold, I think it was the first practice.
One of the first,
yeah, one of the first practices Rantanen played, and he did some move, and Brind'Amour was like, "We don't do that here." And I think that's when the players knew there's like.
So what do we think that? Because I remember we got all mad because it was like, what, scoring? We don't do that here, but I don't think that's what it was. What do you think it actually was?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what do you think
I would
trying
love
to do
to know.
that caused Rod to take him aside or stop practice? Be like, we don't do that here.
Some Jeff Skinner type of move, probably.
Oh, no wonder that brought back some bad memories for him. Probably. I mean,
yeah. It was probably like, you know, what it probably was. It was probably just flying the zone too soon or something like that, or like cheating for offense. That's probably all it was.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Skinner was
never going to work out.
Skinner cheated all his.
He did.
That's why he scored so much. He was a one-zone player. I liked him, but he was a one-zone player. Like, let's just be realistic about it.
Oh, yeah. He was terrible defensively. He didn't care about defense.
That was the bigger problem. He didn't care defensively.
He didn't care.
As far as catching up to somebody and getting there and lifting a stick in and taking the puck the other way, he could do that when he wanted to. But he didn't do it often enough. That was one of the biggest problems.
And we got Nikishin out of that deal.
Nikishin and Kochekov.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tampa can compete, but it all hinges on keeping that team healthy at their age, which is almost impossible. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad the Hurricanes went ahead and got younger.
Yeah, and even like Braden Point's having trouble staying healthy. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced by Tampa.
You know what's interesting is Darren Radge is going to be a UFA. I wonder how much they're going to try and keep him.
Tampa's going to try to keep him, I think, as best they can. But if
he's smart, he'll go to market.
He can get a lot of money on the market.
With the season he just had.
I think that's the first season for him, though. I don't know.
It is. He won't replicate that again. That's why if he's smart, he'll go to market.
He's probably going to want to go to market, yeah.
He might end up being the next Darnell Nurse, but, well, no, I won't say that because Radish can actually defend. So one of the best parts of this whole saga is the media having to give the Canes their flowers. Watching these guys realize where this organization is after winning the Cup is hilarious. $15 million in cap plus so many picks and no real loose contracts other than Nikishin. Look out. And Nikishin's going to get taken care of one way or another. They should tear it down, but Cooch and Hedman are still playing at a high enough level where you can't do that.
Hedman is not.
I think he's a little bit cooked.
Hedman is getting cooked. Kucherov still does, but Hedman is cooked.
Hedman, I think he's got to become a second pair guy and probably your PP2 guy and your PK2 guy. But as far as him being the top defenseman there, those days I'm afraid are over. Which I hate saying that because he's a good player and I like him.
Yeah, that blue line's getting old because McDonough's 37 years old.
Yeah, how many more times how many more? Like McDonough's one of those guys that has a skill set, though. He can play a couple more years if he
Moser's
wants to.
decent. I do like Moser.
I like JJ Moser. Yeah,
Moser's good.
I'd be shocked if the Panthers use that number 9 pick themselves. They're still firmly in their window and have fresh.
I heard they're shopping it to try to get Hellebuck or something like that. But
go ahead,
please.
Please. Do that. Please go ahead. Make
Please.
yourself. Yeah, give up a first round pick for a guy who's how old's Hellebuck now?
He's in his 30s.
Go ahead, be my guest. You might beat Carolina one more time.
They did the same thing with Bob. I mean, they gave out Bob kind of what everyone thought was a ridiculous contract, and it got him 2 cups.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that they definitely are good at managing the short-term payoffs. I have to give Florida that. And for all the grief
He's
that Carolina's
33 years old.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give him first-round pick.
I mean, I think Hellebuck would love it because he loves the Kachucks because they're Olympians together, and so I actually think it makes a lot of sense. I think if they can pull it off,
Winnipeg, for both teams, actually kind of.
So I actually think that could very well happen.
We'll see if Carolina's going to get anybody else from Winnipeg. You already know who I want. But there's no need for him anymore.
Who, Mark Scheifele?
No. Kyle Connor.
Oh, Connor, yeah.
Connor would be an excellent Hurricane. It's just you don't need him now.
He would. Yeah.
Oh, he'd be great.
Kyle Connor would be like you'd have another Nick Ehlers basically at that point.
They're not going to trade him, though.
No, he'll eventually he might want out if they don't get any better. I don't see how Winnipeg gets better, though. I just don't see where they do that.
They need to rebuild.
Yeah, they can't put it off anymore.
Hellebuck knows it too.
Yeah. Carolina was a better team in all series. Yeah, they were. It took them a little bit to get to their game sometimes, but so long it was one of the knocks on Canes is not having superstar scoring, and they won this without relying on the first line. Yeah, it was goals by committee, which I prefer a team being built that way.
And it was also the second line going nuclear.
They went.
It was also Stank Blanket Hall going nuclear.
It was, and look at how Florida won the cup. Was it the Barkov line? No, it was.
No, it was Marchand, Lucerinen, and Lundell.
And Lundell. It was Lundell.
Yeah.
No, but even they weren't good as Stahl, Hall, Blank.
Exactly.
The Blank, yeah.
Agreed. Hart was not the hardest goalie. Dobis was good, but I think the toughest goalie we played with Olmark. It was Olmark by far. He put on a show, man. I have nothing but respect for that guy. Especially after people spread a bunch of unsubstantiated rumors about him, and I think that type of shit needs to stop. Like that's getting kind of old. Like Ottawa seemed like the toughest team.
Second toughest, I think.
I mean, Vegas was a more definitely more talented than Ottawa. I mean, Ottawa though. I mean, they tried to replicate. They tried to replicate Florida's game more so than Vegas. Vegas was playing their own game. Ottawa tried to play Florida's game, and you just can't.
What's that thing that Mike Tyson says? Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, and the first thing that Jordan Stahl does is punch Brady Tkachuk in the mouth.
That's true. Yep.
Like he went ahead and put, because the media had been saying, oh, they're going to get bullied by Ottawa, and Jordan Stahl put that to bed immediately.
And it's so funny because Jordan Stahl kind of starts the series with a banger and ends the series in the finale series with just
MVP.
MVP, yeah.
And he should have scored in Game 6 too. He should have scored twice.
Yeah.
Yes, he should have. The breakaway and the pass to
the tip chance. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Just put it wide.
Yeah. Someone made it was Canes to Arizona made a really funny post. He wrote something along the lines of, it's like Carolina went out and got Ehlers for the Aho liner that he ended up helping Jordan Stahl turn into 2009 Malkin.
Yeah, 2000. He was kind of like 2009 Malkin, wasn't he? That's even Tortorella. That's another thing. Tortorella admitted it, is that they had no answer. They had no answer to Stahl in front of the net. It's like
if they still had White Cloud or Pietrangelo, they could have maybe mitigated that.
Yeah,
especially White Cloud, because White Cloud's one of the best shutdown guys in the league. I'd say he's in the top 15.
He's the UFA, isn't he?
Zach White Cloud? I believe so. Yeah. And if we're gonna, if we have to get a defenseman for whatever reason,
man,
I mean, it's like they'll never get scored on again. You won't get any offense out of him, but like,
another defenseman who I could see us getting, because we've been linked to him in the past. He's going to be UFA, although I'd probably want to stay with the team. Is Mario Ferraro?
Yeah, dude, Ferraro, I would do backflips if they got Mario Ferraro. I love that guy. I've been saying that for years. I absolutely love Mario Ferraro.
They've been linked to Ferraro before.
He's been linked to Carolina about as long as Ehlers has been.
Yeah.
I think they've tried to get him before. I just don't know if San Jose is going to give him up when they're finally entering a competitive window. They want his experience
he's
there.
a UFA. So
they're like San Jose is still so desperate for defensemen right now.
They won't give him up. I think they'll sign him.
They'll still do everything they can to sign him.
But Mario Ferraro is actually like a member of my dream team. Like for real. I think he's a great defenseman. I would have that sweater in a heartbeat if Mario Ferraro came here.
Guys, I got like 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm talking as an Ottawa fan, by the way. Really, Ottawa got swept. This is still not good enough. We need a lot of work if we want to win. That team, it's more about letting what you have already grow. Like, there's not much else you need to do to it.
You got a pretty good coach.
They're in the crock pot right now. You just got to let them cook. Travis Green is a very good coach.
Yes.
Game 6, the game we won 3-0. Okay, we're referencing the money puck thing. What did he say about Slavin? Oh, the money puck thing. The short version of it is after the Olympics, he put links to donate to women's hockey on all the USA players. And that particularly pissed me off about Slavin, considering he adopted a girl that now skates.
And he also said he learned how to be as good as he did from his older sister.
Yeah, his oldest sister, who coincidentally is named Jordan, because you can't check in women's hockey. So that's where he learned to have the defensive stick that he has. So say that about whoever you want. You're not going to talk shit about Jacob Slavin around me and me not come at you over it. Kind of like that Sportsnet lady. I've been saying shit to her all day.
I thought I heard something recently between Slavin and Lidstrom.
That at this point, I think that's a reasonable comparison, especially after what he did on Sunday.
Without the offense. Lidstrom had the offense.
Lidstrom had the offense.
But every bit is good defensively, if not. I'll say every bit is good defensively.
Lidstrom also had the offense in an era where it was very hard to score.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, because he played a lot of his hockey in the dead puck era.
Like, actually, there's a podcast I was listening to earlier today. They were talking about it, like in terms of who they would want over Slavin, and there was they would still they give the stock answers. Like they would take Hughes, they would take Bouchard is actually where they kind of said maybe Bouchard, but no, the only defenseman in my opinion that is better than Jacob Slavin is Kyle McCarr.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the only one that is better.
And there's some of the
what about Zach Werenski?
No, they mentioned him too. Nope.
Oh, really?
There were some people saying this stuff about how Moritz Seider, who I like, is the best shutdown D in the league now. And I'm like, no. And I say that as someone who really likes Moritz Seider. Stahl maybe, Rod no way. Jordan Stahl is still too good. He can't leave yet. He ain't going nowhere.
He's not leaving.
Special teams coach Jordan Stahl. I mean, he's proven that he's a power play asset for the first time since. When was the last time he was on the power play anyway?
That's so incredible, man. Like he scored his first power play goal in 4 years this season.
Yeah.
And it's just we gave him more minutes, more job, and he got better.
Just had the two worst results, basically. Yeah, with those 2 years of coaching before this. Last year was his best coaching job. And this year is right behind it, in my opinion. I know it's hard to say that considering we're chance with juggling the Miko thing, an underwhelming deadline, and still an ECF. Yeah, and that team wasn't supposed to get as far as it did. Looking at the bigger picture, was Vegas a harder team to play against? In a lot of ways, yeah, because they had the structure. But if you're asking me, like, personnel-wise, which team is better, it's Ottawa. If that series takes place a couple of years from now, it's going to be much more difficult to win if Ottawa didn't change anything at all, because it's just they've got a lot of good young players. They just got to grow.
And if they get a goaltending performance like that again.
Yeah. Like if Zub and Clevin hadn't been out, that series would have gone to 6 games.
That really hurt them.
Zub being out for them is like Slavin being out for Carolina. Zub is one of the best shutdown D in the league. Like he's in the top 5.
Zub is great. I love Zub.
Mikey Anderson
is amazing.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a top 5, Slavin, as far as shutdown D, Slavin is up there. Mikey Anderson is up there. Artem Zub is up there. Gustav Forsling is up there.
Yep.
Essa Lindell, I'd throw in there. Jonas Brodin. Pelech, yes, absolutely Pelech.
Yeah.
Adam, I don't understand why Islanders fans shit on Adam Pelech so much. He's a very good shutdown guy. He's one of the best ones in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Build the bod statue, meow. I'm sure that's coming. We're going to talk about that. Not tonight, but Stahl's deal was made to retire on, and if Carolina won the Cup a year or two ago, I think he's retired right now, but I see him finish out his deal next year and then take a couple of 1-year deals. If he wants to keep playing, he takes care of himself. If he wants to keep playing, let him keep playing. Like, and I know we talk about Aho being the captain and stuff all the time. If Jordan Stahl's still here, I'm sure Aho doesn't care who wears the letter. I don't think he does. He's a team first guy. No. He doesn't care where the goals come from. He doesn't care where the leadership comes from, and he can be just as vocal of a guy as he is, and he's earned his respect too. So I just would rather, if Jordan Stahl was not around, Aho is definitely my first choice to be the captain, because Slavin won't go in there and drop F-bombs at guys like Aho will. Aho will go in there and tell them to get
occasionally you need
someone to go in there and tell
Slavin could say alternate captain, but Aho is definitely the future captain without a doubt.
Like I said, the
I was hoping Slavin might be the captain, but I might.
I thought so too for a bit, but yeah.
Well, see, the thing about it is, it's like the way it would play out if Jordan Stahl's not around, they're having a bad game, right? Aho's the one that's going to go in the locker room and be like, put the kids to bed. I mean, it's late enough. They're probably not watching now. Hey, you motherfuckers, you suck. Like, get your shit together. And then he'll walk off, and then Slavin would come in, good cop, bad cop thing. Yeah. And then Slavin would come in there and be like, all right, guys, here's what we need to do different. And he would build them back up after Aho goes in there and crushes them. So not to say that Slavin doesn't have competitive fire. Slavin just doesn't have and that's fine. You need both of those things. Slavin has the personality to be like, all right, guys, you heard that. Let's get ourselves together here. And you know,
both.
Aho's a whiskey drinker. Slavin's a milk drinker. You need both.
Yeah.
So
you can put them together. It's a nice little kind of white Russian,
Yeah, and then you have Russians too, and you have Svechnikov, and you have Nikishin,
Russian style.
Chekhov. Yeah, so it's like you can just do that.
Who's going to be the captain if Aho leaves in the very far future, like retires?
I don't know.
Stankoven.
Stankoven.
Yeah.
Who could take future leadership like 15 years from now? I don't know.
Svechnikov. He's grown a lot. I think Svechnikov could wear a letter.
You think Blake could be a letter wearer at some point, maybe?
Yeah, I could definitely.
Maybe.
Did Jason Blake wear a letter? Does he ever?
I don't remember actually. Think so. But like,
I'll Google it.
If it's 10 years from now and Aho's retired, if Svechnikov's still here, which I imagine he would be, he could wear a letter. Or not literally 10 years, but like down the line, Svechnikov could wear a letter. He's grown a lot. A few years ago, I would have never dreamed of that, but now, Svechnikov, I think in the future could wear a letter.
Jason Blake wore the A as an alternate captain for the New York Islanders in the 2006-7 season.
Oh, okay. All right, so there's that.
I think Blake can wear a letter.
Maybe Nikishin. That's too early to tell with him, but I think
it's fun to speculate. It's just
like Walker or someone like that. He could wear a letter.
Walker could do. The only problem is Walker won't be around.
Miller, maybe. Maybe even
Miller. Miller absolutely could do it. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Miller would be excellent at that.
Maybe Nystrom, Legault, maybe.
I like Nystrom just being I like Nystrom being the asset that he is, where he shows up, he does his job with a quiet confidence and leaves. I don't see Nystrom being that guy. Miller's got that fire to wear a letter. Like I think his personality, he would be excellent at wearing a letter, and he led by example on the ice too in this series, or in the playoffs as a whole. He was Carolina's best defenseman.
Interviews where I think it was Johnny Lazarus was like, "Did you have any any personal the chip on your shoulder?" He's like, "Damn right I did."
that's what I like. I like the fact that he didn't give them the
chip on my shoulder this year. He said a lot of people talk shit about me.
I like that. It's like they called him every name in the book, of which one of them you can imagine what it was, and he's got a Stanley Cup. How many Stanley Cups does Adam Fox have? Also, how many Olympic gold medals does he have? Oh, none, because Team USA was smart and left him off.
Yeah, I know. I was on a Rangers podcast, I think before the start of this past season. They were grilling Miller, saying just how bad he was this past season.
They were scapegoating him. That's all it was.
That's all it was. Their team was bad.
They were blaming him. Adam Fox was playing worse than him at many occasions, and they never said a word about it. Not a word. And they're still saying that Gavrikov is the better defenseman than him. No.
He's not.
And I like Gavrikov, but he is not better than Miller.
No.
And they're saying he's a system merchant. Well, everybody's a system merchant to some degree. If you're not a good fit, you're not a good fit.
Get a better system.
Yeah, get a better system. Get a better coach. Get a better GM.
And Shea didn't work, so.
Yeah. I think the difference can be boiled down to the emergence of an actual 2C. We don't have one of those. And a guy who has the ability to be a game breaker in Ehlers. No 2C. We will not talk about that here.
Not a bit. Nope.
No 2C in this organization.
Not remotely convinced.
from the Chiclet Show today, Tripp said that Rod had decided to go with Bussy even before they knew Anderson was injured. Oh, I like that. Good game management, good gamemanship.
I mean, after he let in 4, they better.
Yeah, Caleb agreed. Come back even with
I was
loss.
concerned he wasn't. I was really concerned Brindamore.
I knew Bussy was going to come out and start the third, though. I
knew that.
Yeah,
that I was pretty confident that was going to happen. But yeah.
Still, though, it's just you never seen Brindamore do that before. So it was just,
he's done a lot of stuff this year. He's never done
better
before.
This year. Yep,
he is.
Okay, like at the end of game 1, he put Nikishin out there because he knew he has that bomb of a shot. That set play went perfectly.
Almost went in.
It almost went in. If Marner hadn't accidentally blocked it, because he didn't do that on purpose. He was trying to get out of the way so Hart could see it. And that puck had plenty of time to build up speed, so it was going to hurt him if it hit him. So he didn't do that on purpose, I don't think. He wouldn't have done that before. He would have just put Burns out there and he would have missed the net by 7 feet. So Rod has shown more growth as a coach this season than he has in the previous 7 combined.
Yeah.
So, like, I when I saw him put Nikishin out there, like in addition to going to the video room after game 1 versus Montreal and then the adjustments he made throughout the rest of the series, I was like, this is the Brindamore that I've been waiting to see, and I knew that we would see him eventually. So but he absolutely, like, I could not say enough good things about him this season as a coach, because y'all know I've been kind of critical of him for the last couple of years. I've hardly said a word about him this year, and look at what happened.
I started when it came to Brindamore, I started having the questions the year that they had Gensel. That was when I started asking questions, just because we had a loaded roster. We really did.
Yeah, they stuck with Anderson too long on that one. That was
and I guess there's no bad blood between him and Kuznetsov, because Kuznetsov's become a traveling Hurricanes fan now.
Oh, he has.
He wanted, I think the organization wanted to keep him, but he wanted to go back to Russia.
Yeah, he wanted to get treatment for the autoimmune disease or whatever it was he had. And Kuznetsov's a cool dude. So I don't want to say I met him, but here is one thing that did happen. I was leaving MedStar, where the Capitals practice. I played that morning because they used to have pickup at 5:30 in the morning on Wednesdays. And he drives a Mercedes. And I drive down this little tumbler they have there down to the lower level of the parking garage, and I pulled out of there. And I was turning left to go to work, and I see this playing this loud, what sounded like Russian hip-hop music or something. I don't know what it was. And the window's like halfway down. And he pulls up a little bit beside me. I look at him, and I see about this much of the top of his head. And I was like, is that who I think it is? And he kind of goes, and I go at him. I didn't know who it was. I wasn't sure. And he pulls ahead of me, and I saw the tag, and it said Kuzi92 on it. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. I've always liked Kuznetsov, though. I can't hate on him. I've always
see an NHL player in the wild. I saw Paul Stastny at church.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He walked in late. That's the reason I noticed. He walked in late. He had his family with him, and I'm like trying to focus on, on praying and whatnot. But I'm like, it's like
that guy scored one of my favorite.
Paul Stastny.
He scored one of my favorite playoff goals ever, too.
Yeah, what a series against the Islanders. Yeah, it was great.
If you don't want to say that, that's fine, Matt. But what church do you?
I was in Raleigh.
It was in Raleigh. Okay.
He was in Raleigh.
Game 3 comeback was instrumental, but I think game 2 comeback was the most instrumental, because I don't know how it would have went going down to it. They would have lost the series. Yeah. They straight up, they would have lost the series. Anyone believe the rumor Tulski picked Stankoven over Jason Robertson? Yes. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Absolutely believe that.
Chris Johnson reported he doesn't completely mix it up.
He's pretty accurate. He's not Elliot Friedman accurate, but he's pretty accurate.
He is.
Regardless of what you label them, need at least 2 top end centers to win a cup. Proven by Florida recently. That's an internal discussion. I'll let them have that.
Despite the fact that we are absolutely not convinced that Stankoven can be a 2C, the last 2C to be this effective was Doug Jarvis. That was that small,
Yeah.
In terms of that kind of height, it was someone like you got
no relation to Seth Jarvis, by the way.
True, no relation to Seth Jarvis, but he was the last person you have to find to be a small center that's that effective, especially in the playoffs.
I'm waiting on someone to clip us saying all this stuff about how Stankoven's not a 2C and be like, look at what these idiots are saying, and I'm going to be like, does he know?
Okay, for the record, I think he's a 2C. For the record, I think he's a 2C.
No, we don't say that here.
We don't say that here, Sam. I don't know if if you saw that, Brandon, but I got a whole chat, including our mutual friend. I got him too with it. Like they all fell for it. I got them all. They all fell for it.
No, it's just
They should know by now because they watch you. They see us. They see what we say, but they all fell for it.
Yeah, that's one of the gimmicks, Sam. That's
I
right up there.
that was a gimmick.
I am nothing if not gimmicks.
Okay.
That's the bit, Sam. Come on, get with the program.
It's my second favorite gimmick to the Jankowski to China one.
I'm a little bit too serious at times. Okay.
Oh, I am too. That's I balance it out with gimmicks.
You fell for it too, Sam. Tisk, tisk, tisk.
I get passionate, all right?
Oh, I do too. I'm very passionate about Logan Stankoven not being a 2C and Mark Jankowski catching the next flight to Beijing. But
and I'm very passionate about KK getting out of here, even though he's a Stanley Cup champion.
He's Stanley Cup champion. Yes, Barry Kokiniemi. Thank you.
Y'all leave my boy KK alone. He's God.
Stanley Cup champion, man.
I've been literally trying to get somebody deported to get him back in the lineup.
It's been 3.5 hours, and we're still going because we fucking won.
I'm subscribed to you and will stay subscribed. Love your takes and you know so much about the game. Definitely becoming a Kane supporter. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes. I love Bryce Young.
Okay.
We were talking about the Panthers earlier.
Yeah.
The ones we like.
He's okay. Yeah. Still too short.
Well, they said Stankoven was too short, but completely different game.
Different game.
Yeah. The best part about this win is that Carolina doesn't have a bunch of rentals that are leaving. Every player who won the cup is a long-term part of the team. Yeah. No, this is the best time you can win it because the window's still wide open.
Oh, Brandon, I see a perfect question for you.
Where?
Luke Potato. Keep scrolling down.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Do you think Jarvis will ever be the team captain? No. Do not. No.
Not that one. Keep going.
Oh. Who?
Keandre
that one?
Moore. Yeah, that one.
Keandre Moore.
He means Miller, though, doesn't he?
He does. I think that was if he's watching on his phone, it might have been like an autocorrect thing. That's all I think.
He's better than Adam Fox now.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Now he is.
I didn't know if Adam Fox triggered you or not, Brandon.
No, it's more so the fact that Rangers fans were scapegoating Keandre Miller while Adam Fox could have the most brutal turnover ever in the history of the game.
Now, Adam Fox.
I hate that dude, man. I hate him. So
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Brandon. But now Adam Fox could have had a career aside Slavin. He could have had a monster career partnered with Jacob Slavin. But he decided, no, I want to play for my team, and I'm not going to sign with you. Those who want to be here are here. He was one of the first people who started that kind of nonsense.
Well, see, the thing about it
do
is,
you want to win, or do you want to play for your favorite team that didn't?
Well, when Slavin and Fox played together in Four Nations, for that little bit of time before they switched it up and put Faber with Slavin, I was not impressed with Adam Fox.
Well, I mean, they could have figured it out. I think they could have figured it out, with the time and camp and everything like that. Yeah, Faber was better. You're right. That was a little bit better, but still, he could have had a career here, a very successful one. He chose to snub us, and now we've got a cup, and he doesn't. So.
Yeah, and Team USA won a gold medal without him, and if he hadn't been on the Four Nations team, they might have won that one too.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
Yeah.
That's for damn sure.
Because him and Hannafin made one mistake and cost that entire effort.
Yeah, freaking putts. Yeah, him and Hannafin.
It's like if you're going to be an offensive defenseman, which Fox has great vision, he has a lot of good things in his game. But if you're going to be like that, you got to be a better skater than what he is.
Yeah, he's so bad.
And I just have the awareness to not leave McDavid open in the slot.
Yeah, give him enough time to make a sandwich. Of course, he's going to score. And then the other thing is a lot of people say, "Oh, the reason Fox doesn't skate well is because Aho Neon need him." I'm like, no, he never was a good skater.
Yeah, he never was. And you have to be a good skater on the blue line, especially if you're a defenseman, to do well under Rod. Great example, Jake Gardner.
God, I feel so bad for that guy. I know his injuries mostly did him in, but he was never a great skater to begin with.
He was the worst skater that we had under Brindamore, I thought.
Yeah. See, here's the funny thing about it. To be a defenseman at all now, regardless of where you play, you have to be a good skater. If you drop Jesperi Kokiniemi into the 90s, he'd be Scott Stevens. Like, you didn't have to skate well to play defense back then. Nowadays, it's like whether you're an offensive defenseman or a shutdown guy, you got to be able to skate.
Alrighty. Well, I think I'm gonna need to.
I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I
I mean,
think-
I
I
don't have
think-
to be up until 7, but I've had a roller coaster couple of days, living off of 2 hours of sleep, and then last night I slept for like 10, and I was still tired. So, and then I had class and I had the interview today. I'm still behind on schoolwork, but I had to do this stream. All right, everybody, stand by for announcements on Thursday. I'll be posting those sometime tomorrow. Sorry we couldn't get to the rest of the comments tonight, but this went on significantly longer than we thought. We're 1 hour away from getting to draft stream links.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't want to do that again, but the two things that we do have coming up is on Thursday, we're going to do a mega stream where we're going to have a bunch of people. That's the plan. We'll see who all we can get. We have that, and we will do playoff player grades during the draft. So that way we can at least do something constructive while we're waiting on Carolina to trade back both of their firsts. So
Sam, let me get your, after we close out, let me get your.
Okay. Yep. But everybody, thank you very much for joining us. And by the way, if you haven't heard, the Carolina Hurricanes won the 2026 Stanley Cup. Oh, wait, hold on.
Yes, they have.
Stanley Cup champions.
Wait, before y'all go, why don't you think Jarvis can be a team captain?
He's not the temperament. He's not the
That's the only thing. He could wear an A one day, but it's like,
I love Jarvis, but
I
don't
do
think
too. I just
anybody
don't see
could
him being
take
a leader.
Seriously, that's the thing.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it like that, but that was kind of my sentiment too. It's like I love Jarvis. I just can't see him being the captain of the team. Like, that could be totally wrong one day, but I would
call me into his office and I'd still laugh.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, that's why Jarvis would have had to have been Jarvis. Like I said, if he'd been a PE teacher, he would have been fine. Principal, though, I would have been, yeah, you're in trouble. I'm like, okay, sure, buddy.
Yeah.
Call my parents. I don't care.
As he eat his chicken nuggets.
I'm like, you could bribe him. You could bribe him with Nerds Gummy Clusters.
You bring him Gert,
Chick-fil-A
Jennings is
nuggets.
like, hey, how about
Here's
this?
a Cajun filet biscuit. Can I go now? Can you change the grades? I love Jarvis. I just don't see it happening. And that's not me like being like spiteful toward him. It's just me poking fun. Well, he very well could be the captain of the team one day. I don't expect that to happen, but it's just he doesn't have the temperament for it that Aho, Slave, and guys like that have.
He's the class clown. Let him be.
He
that.
is. Don't get me wrong. You need guys like that. You absolutely need someone to
let him be
help the room level out and loosen up when things aren't going well. Sometimes you just need to hear a laugh. Sean Hill, everyone said that he was one of the funniest guys that ever played for the team. But on the ice, he was an absolute bruiser. And it's like you have to have those multiple types of personalities. You don't want to have everybody having the same thing in there. Jarvis on his own has like 3 different personalities, and they're all great. So I just can't see him being the captain personally. Like I said, I could be wrong about that one day. I just personally don't see it happening.
Stanley Cup champs.
Let's make it a dynasty.
Yes.
And
More.
they've got the players to do it. But we will talk further on Thursday about the probability of the Canes repeating. We'll talk about it a little bit more in depth. Gentlemen, thank you both very much for joining me. All of you in the chat, thank you very much for joining me. Sorry we couldn't get to all your comments. It's just we get a lot of people in here now, so it's hard to. It's not like when I had 50 people watching and I could get to everything. It's like, but I'm really grateful to all of you, the followers and the subscribers. This is what makes it fun, and we had more fun this year than I think that we've ever had since we started all this. So, gentlemen, again, thank you very much.
And
everyone
check out
else,
the Caniac Report.
yes. Also, yeah. Sam, go ahead and give your plug.
Yeah. So again, I am the co-host of the Caniac Report. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're also on YouTube too. We just released the Game 6 recap, literally the morning after Game 6 happened, with our emotions up high. So please listen to that.
Yep, and they're on YouTube and X both if you want to find their socials and everything like that. And yeah, I think you guys are on Spotify now too, right? Because I think that's where I used to listen to you when I had a 30-minute commute, and pretty soon I might have one again. So I'll be listening to y'all more often. All right, everybody, thank you very much. We will see you on Thursday.
All right, see you.